welcome back to the Minecraft Update Podcast with me, FoxyNoTail, and of course, Mr. Lizard. How are you doing, Slack?
Doing good, doing good. Little full from Christmas, just saying. Just a little bit full. What about you?
Yeah, I may have expanded to twice my usual size over the last week. It's going to take some working off, but I think it's worth it. Definitely worth it.
A lot of good food. I'm just saying, a lot of good food, but I think I'm going to be wearing stretch pants for a while. Just saying. Just saying.
Yeah. Aside from food, I know last week you said you don't ask for presents, but did you get anything? Did you get any gifts that you're particularly happy with?
Nothing that I wasn't expecting. A couple shirts, got some socks. I mean, I love socks. I think I'm going to take the philosophy of my grandfather. He said it wasn't a good Christmas unless he got socks and underwear for Christmas. So, I mean, I got socks, so I guess it's a good Christmas then.
Mine must have been brilliant then, because I got socks and pants, so I'm very happy with that. And that's UK pants, not American pants. They were underwear. So yeah. Oh, good. That's good news then. Are you looking forward to the new year?
Yeah, I am actually. There's some interesting things hopefully going to happen at the beginning of the new year in my life that could be some quality of improvements in my life, I guess is the best way to put it.
Oh, brilliant. And do you want to share that, or is that just a wait and see type thing?
I mean, I guess we've covered our hi, welcome back, and I guess we could go into the whole this week section of our podcast.
We could, but then we do feedback first. And I was going to ask you about New Year's resolution, Slack, for goodness sake.
Oh, goodness gracious.
The segue to the wrong part of the podcast.
Wow, I see how it is. I see how it is today. Right, well, lead on, good sir.
Well, I tell you what, do you want to leave feedback till after we've done this week, seeing so that this today is a bit of a feedback question special, because first of all, there's no news, and B, I don't know, other reasons.
I mean, I guess we can go ahead and cover this week. Foxy, what is going on with you this week?
This week, Slack, I have done almost nothing. Almost nothing at all, because I've had my kids here. It's been great. I've enjoyed Christmas and many, many Christmas dinners, and lots of telling the dog to put the children's toys down and stop chewing all of the Lego, which has been fun. But what I have done is I've been playing Minecraft Dungeons with Oliver. And last week, I was a little bit mean about Minecraft Dungeons. Our first experience of it, I remember when they talk about getting the ender pearls and needing a guide and all that sort of stuff. It's not quite as bad as I made out. So there's only 6 ender pearls you've got to get. And on the map where you go to choose your mission, it does actually tell you which levels contain the ender pearls. So what we did was we went in, we knocked it right down to easy difficulty, and we just blasted through these levels and found the secret areas. And we found each of the secret areas first time, but we were using, you know, when you press like the down on the D-pad and you've got the map overlay on the screen, which is a little bit distracting because it's not a mini map, it's literally right in the center of the screen. But using that, it was quite easy to find the new areas, which was a lot of fun, actually. The finding the ender pearls was actually quite enjoyable, because the old maps, obviously, with the original maps, they're really well worked on, and they've added whole new areas to that with different things going on. The first few secret areas were relatively close to where you started the level, and they didn't take you on too much of a tangent, because once you've found the ender pearl, you've then got to cut back into the map and carry on and finish that map off.
Right.
And the first few, it was fine, but some of them, as you got towards the end, you were on a tangent for like 30, 40 minutes on top of the level you were already doing. So some of these were taking us well over an hour just to do that level to get this ender pearl. But because we had it on easy, we were just blasting through it. The enderman, the crazy big enderman at the end, were really easy. So it wasn't a problem. And then we went to the end. So we finally used these ender pearls. We went to a stronghold, which was a ridiculously massive level for basically what was just an end portal in the middle of it. And then the first end level we went to, we were in, oh man, it looked really good. It's the usual, wow, this looks really good. Oh, look, they've done interesting things with the original mobs. We've got different types of endermen. We got different this, we got different that. But it was boring because it went on forever. We must have been doing that first level for getting on for an hour. We weren't even looking for secrets. We were just trying to make a way through it. I was cooking dinner at the same time, and the alarm on the oven was going off, and I'm thinking, oh man, can we please just get to the end of this level? And it was fun. We didn't have a bad time with it. It was fun. It's just way too long.
Really drawn out.
Yeah, really drawn out. The only thing I will say doesn't work, bearing in mind we're playing this on the same console, so we're not split screen, we're on the same screen, which means if he goes too far off to one side, or I do, it basically stops you. You hit an invisible wall, or in a lot of cases, you end up falling off the map.
Yeah.
There's bits in the end update where you get elytra and you have to fly to another part of the city. But it's it's not like flying in normal Minecraft. So if one of you manages to take off but the other one doesn't, you're guaranteed one of you is going to be in the void. There's no way. I don't think at any point over the 2 full end levels that we've done, when we've basically completed the game type thing, where there was a elytra where we ended up where we intended to be, or both of us got there to the other side safely. One of us always ended up in the void, which was okay, because it doesn't really matter. It only takes a little bit of health off you, but it's not a good mechanic. I understand why they added it into the game, but it's not a good mechanic, and it doesn't work very well. It adds nothing to the game at all. But the levels were pretty. They were really pretty. They're really interesting, but they're just way too long. Way too long.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I mean, I've considered getting the game again. I think I actually have it. I think it's part of the Game Pass or something like that.
It is on Game Pass, yeah.
And I've had Game Pass for years. It's just
the DLC's not, though.
That's where I was about to go with it. It seems like the DLC is really drawn out, and unless you're doing it multiplayer or streaming it or something, I don't know if I'd have as much fun with it.
No, I honestly, I think I would be bored to death doing it on my own. But then I'm not really a dungeon crawler type gamer anyway. I'm playing that because I enjoy Minecraft and because it is fun to play together, genuinely is. And it is fun leveling up and getting your character. But there's another thing I find about it, and this is probably me as an individual rather than most gamers. But when I get a nice piece of armor or a nice weapon that I like and it has the right enchantments that I can level up on it, I don't want to use anything else. So then you go on another level at a harder difficulty and you get given another piece of armor that's a higher level, but it might not necessarily have the right enchantments on it. But I don't want to use that because I like the one I've got. So what I find is I'm actually limiting myself on these harder levels because I'm wearing gear that I got maybe 10 or 12 levels ago, but I don't want to change it because I really like it. I like my daggers and I like my outfit that I've got on because it has the things that I want it for. I know I can take it to the blacksmith and upgrade it, which I have started doing now, but earlier on I just didn't want to because it's there for three full in-game like levels. So you give your items to the blacksmith, he'll upgrade it for you, which you lose the enchantments on it, but you can obviously re-enchant it once you get it back. But then you've got to do 3 full levels without that gear that you like. So, which is, it's good because it makes you have to do something else. But then when I want to, I don't know, it's just...
Sounds like a lot of changes since the last time that I was on there.
Yeah, I just wish there was a better way of upgrading your gear without it being gone for you for so long, because you get a piece that you really like and I think, oh yeah, I want this to level up with me as well. But I know that's not how these things work. I know that's forced game mechanics to make you learn other weapons and things like that. So I get it. It's just, for me, it's quite frustrating because I really like that one. I don't want a sword. I want a quick melee weapon, not a slow one.
Yeah, I get you. Oh, I totally get you on that. You want to play your play style, and they're like, here, look at all these. And you're like, but that's not what I want.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed playing it with Oliver. It is, like I say, the levels themselves are too long, but it's still really enjoyable experience. So don't be put off playing it. If you're interested in playing Minecraft Dungeons, give it a go, but make sure you give yourself a good sort of half an hour to an hour to do each level if you are... yeah, if you can't just jump into it.
Level. Oof, that's not a throwaway and forget a game, is it?
No, it's not something you can just jump into quickly, is it? It's not a, oh, well, I've got 5 minutes, so I'll play a bit of that. You know, it's one of those.
That's the hard thing, isn't it? That's the hard thing. It's finding a game that's throwaway, that doesn't have grind. Yeah, exactly. A fun one that doesn't have hours upon hours of grind. It's like you're talking about dungeons here, and you like that your armor that you get from that. But if you want to improve that, you have to upgrade it, which literally means you have to do missions without it, which if each mission, each level is 30 minutes to an hour, well, that's 3 hours just to upgrade like one piece of your armor, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's a lot of time. It's a lot of time.
It is. It is a lot of time. And, but if you're enjoying it, great. And if you've got the time, great. But if you're like me and you don't, there's no way I would play this unless my kids are here and I'm taking time off from what I usually do, just because I don't have the time to put into it.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, unless it was like a community event or a special one-off thing where like we as the community of TB got together and did something like that. Yeah, I just don't think I can spare the time for it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not that big of a priority. It sounds fun. And if I had kids or something like that, it'd probably be something I would enjoy to play with them. But in this situation for me, nah, just,
yeah. It's a shame, but not to worry. Anyway, it sounds like a negative, but it's not. It's very much a positive because obviously I've spent hours playing it. But what have you done this week?
This week for me, it's pretty much Minecraft. Still been Minecraft, man. I love this season of Truly Bedrock. I haven't felt this, what's the word? Invigorated? Is that the right word? Motivated in a while to do stuff. I've started working on my Farmville type area on Truly Bedrock, and it's just every day I'm just expanding upon that, and I absolutely love it. It's just been a blast. It's like going back to the basics. Like I did a lot of technical stuff in season 0, and we've done technical stuff over the seasons, but like season 1, I started doing with a big build, and season 2, and it's like I haven't went back to just farming everything and anything in a long time, and it's just I'm running away with it. I'll probably be sick of it in 2 or 3 weeks, but right now I'm absolutely loving it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you're going to end up running out of steam in about 2 weeks, like not even a third of the way into the season, and Slack's like, I've done it, I've finished, I've farmed everything.
Well, okay, so I'll let you on a little bit of inside information, and the people out there on a little bit of inside information. You know, I've got neck issues.
Yeah.
And I was actually scheduled to have a surgery like literally a couple months before COVID hit. And then COVID hit and that got postponed.
Okay.
The doctor I was seeing contacted me the other day and wants to get everything back on task.
Okay.
Which means the next surgery is going back on the agenda, which I need it. I need it.
Yes.
I desperately need it for quality of life, for quality of life improvements. But there's a chance I could be out of action for a little bit. So I'm recording. I'm multi-purposed at this. One, I'm recording a lot of content. I'm trying to get ahead on content. So that way, when I have the surgery, in case I'm down, I still have content that comes out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's, and then sitting down and playing this much Minecraft back to back, day after day after day. I'm putting in a lot of grind right now, because I'm doing a lot of recording. I'm recording so many time lapses. I'm falling in love with the camera account features.
Oh,
I wish we had more where we could do the whole pathing, because I'm absolutely loving it. Watchful, my editor, is having fun with editing all the time lapses and everything. And it's just, I'm really trying to get ahead on content, and the farm area with all the hours I'm putting into it right now is just, it's making me, I don't know. It's like taking me back to my roots, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
Well, that's good to hear. That's really good to hear. And I really, wish you the best of luck with your neck surgery. I hope it doesn't take you out of the game for too long, but I really do hope it improves things for you.
I think
quality of life is important when you spend your entire life in front of a screen playing Minecraft. And if it's uncomfortable, it's not ideal, is it?
No, it's not ideal. And I think the most realistic option of what's going to happen is I'm going to have the surgery, and I'm no longer going to be in pain, and everything's going to be good. But fingers crossed. But you never know. I could have a few days where I feel miserable, or I could have a few weeks. I think optimistically that I'm going to have the surgery and I'm going to feel great, because I was sitting and talking to a few people the other day, and I'm not trying to throw a pity party or nothing like that. And I'm not trying to distract from what we're doing. We're talking about our life and our week and everything like that. I was literally sitting the other day, and I was like, I can't think of a time before I had neck issues anymore.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it is like to not have neck issues. I mean, the whole time you've known me, I've had it.
Yeah. I've not known you without neck issues.
Hopefully this will get it all situated out. Hopefully. Good talk, right?
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. So have you got anything else you'd like to add to that, or are we jumping straight onto the news?
Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the news. Wait, we have news?
No, we haven't got any news. Literally, neither between us, we haven't written down a single news article. Now, we know Mojang are on Christmas vacation at the minute, or holiday, or whatever you want to call it. So there's pretty much nothing coming out of there. You mentioned to me before we started recording that you'd seen something about Warden animations on Twitter, but we couldn't find the post. So
yeah, that's been about it. It's been pretty quiet. I guess that's kind of what happens when everybody's on vacation.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be any real major news unless something crazy goes on like this. That like, what was it called? The exploit thing, something crazy out of the blue like that happens again, or we start getting more snapshots and betas in the new year, which I imagine will start coming back in January.
Yeah, I imagine in January things will start to pick up once again. People get back in the office. People start hammering away again. I'm sure we'll have many, many things to report.
Yeah, I reckon. And Bugdate might fill itself out a little bit then as well, because even our Bugdate section Slack has only got one thing in it, and that's from you this week.
Yeah, that's actually it kind of goes back into, I think it was the first one we covered in episode 1 on issues with lighting updates. Well, apparently this one's branched off of that one. And the gist of this is mobs can spawn in areas that should be considered lit. Now, it seems to only be doing it for light level 1s. Like between 0 and 2, you got that one area there, light level 1. Apparently, there's a bug where they will still spawn in light level of 1.
Right. Okay. So it's not full 0 is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like mobs are only supposed to spawn in 0. And there's interesting reports of mobs spawning in light levels of 1.
Yeah. Now I'm looking at the bug report that you've shared in the document. Obviously, the link to that will be in the description below.
Yep.
That is currently unconfirmed, but I'm guessing if it's only just been added in 4 days ago. Yeah, it was while Mojang had been on holiday anyway. So it's going to be interesting to see if there's a video. I really want to watch it, but I'm not going to watch it while we're in the middle of a podcast. I will watch that later. But yeah, I'm interested in looking at that.
Just ignore me for just one moment.
No, you can't do it. Not me.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's only an 8-second video.
No, it isn't only an 8-second video.
What? That's so weird.
So if you're if you're interested in this bug, then check out the bug report, because there's a very interesting video on there that is very interesting. That's all I got to say about that.
Right.
Right. So moving on from, so we got, last episode Slack was 2.5 hours long, and it took us about 3 weeks just to get into the main section. And look at us, we've gone through 4 sections already. We're jumping straight into feedback from last week.
I'm telling you, we got a lot of feedback. I'm just saying.
The feedback page for me has gone blank. Oh no, there we go. It's back again. Oh jeez, I thought you'd delete it all. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You start off here.
Okay, so the first piece of feedback from the comments is from Rusty Shackelford, and it says, well, if that's how, I'll bear it in mind. This is to sort of explain. Last week we got feedback saying that we make the logo move around on the screen for when you're watching the podcast on TV, because rich people have OLED TVs that suffer from burn-in because for some reason they buy things that aren't fit for purpose, and then demand that content creators change their content because they can't be bothered to buy something that works. So we said, no, we're not going to fix it. Rusty's come back and says, well, guys, if that's how you feel, I have no choice but to download the audio and record video of that Maze screensaver from Windows 98 and dub the audio into that. I'll sell it back to myself and make millions. And then I'll sue myself for my own stupidity. My OLED has a screen off function for exactly this purpose. I have the brain of a smelly villager and I should be fired. Idiot level 99 for me. So, yeah, I think that's a really lovely response, really funny. Great. And yeah, I thought your screen must have some feature in it to prevent things like that. But I don't know, because you can get really expensive OLED TVs, can't you, that just are ridiculously full of these functions. Then you can get sort of the cheaper end, which is still really expensive, which just don't have the features, and then you just burn everything into the screen. So I'm glad you've got a solution.
Yeah, I love the idea of adding in the screensaver. I think that's why didn't you think of that?
Well, I think we mentioned something. You said something about the bouncing DVD logo. I basically just said I'm too lazy and I'm not going to do it.
Okay, well, fine. So, fine then. Yeah. Right. Moving on to our next comment here, which is from, oh God, how do you say that? Is it Salrob?
Salrob79.
Salrob79. Great episode, guys. Keep them coming. Merry Christmas to you both. Well, thank you. Merry Christmas to you too.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Yeah. You want to go ahead and do the next one, or shall I?
You carry on, because that one was only very small.
Okay. Nate here. Having silent on for the content portion would have been more great insight. His videos are often stolen and re-uploaded as someone else with no credit whatsoever. What?
Yeah, basically what they're saying is that Silent has had quite a few of his videos actually stolen and re-uploaded on a different channel. I think quite a few of us have suffered from that now, haven't we?
Yeah, I'd say quite a few people have. I mean, everything from any kind of farm out there. I mean, you name it, somebody's recorded it and somebody else has done it again.
Yeah, I've had, not many, I've had 2 or 3 of mine literally just re-uploaded and then put a different thumbnail on. And more commonly than that, though, is someone will upload a video that's similar, but then use your thumbnail on it. So
I've also seen somebody take your video and add a different language audio track on it.
Yeah, that's really weird, because I get the reason why they would want to do that. And I've actually had people come to me, they'll email me, they'll comment, or they'll ask me one way or another, can I re-upload your videos in a different language? And I say no, because they're my videos. And they're like, well, that's not very fair to us Spanish speaking people, or us whatever language speaking people. And I just think, well, I know it's not fair, but they're still my videos. I'm an English content creator. I don't speak those languages, which is, awful. I'm really sorry that I don't. It's not that I didn't bother to learn. I don't. So I can't produce the content in those languages. So it's just one of those life situations where it's just tough. It's just hard,
Yeah.
If you want to come along and put, if you want to come and make me some subtitles for those videos in different languages, then great. We'll put them on my video. But asking me to re-upload my content and you dub it in a different language is that's not helping me. That's helping you. So yeah, if you really, really do feel strongly about having our videos in different languages, then you can, as a community, come and give us subtitles. That's something YouTube actually allow you to do.
Yep.
Is produce subtitles in different languages for creators.
Yep, I've got it turned on my videos. People can submit them, and then, yeah, the only problem with that is then you got to verify that they're right.
You do, yeah. There is that, because somebody could come along with all sorts of subtitles that you can't read and
exactly
just assume they're okay. It could be saying anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it is a tricky situation. I think this is one of these situations where, like I say, as awful as it sounds, it's just tough. I'm really sorry. I'm sure there's plenty of content creators from all around the world that do speak your language that you can watch. I know you want to watch that person that speaks a different language to you, and I know you want your friends and the people that maybe don't speak English to see that, but it's just not how it works. I'm really sorry.
I would agree. I would agree.
So, Lucky2 says, so many good things were hit on during this one. Seriously, as content creators, y'all have really helped me understand the strange block game my kids and... This strange block game. My kids needed my expert level 99 gamer dad help and with that, and now I'm hooked on. Grateful for the hilarious creativeness of Truly Bedrock. Still want polished andesite walls though. And then a laughing face. Wow. You can't have them, mate. You can't have them.
Well, we could. They just chose not to give them to us.
Do you know why they didn't give us those ones?
Kind of the same reason they didn't give us, concrete stairs and slabs.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. It's because it's laziness, I think. The polished variations of andesite, granite, and diorite have a light line around one edge and a dark line around one edge to give it that 3D feel with the shininess in the middle, right?
Right.
Whereas the raw versions of it are just it's just a very plain texture. It's a very flat texture, which is really easy to wrap around different shapes. If you've got a 3D texture, it doesn't automatically wrap around a new shape, which means you need a completely separate texture for the wall and one for the stairs and one for this, that, and the other, which just, it breaks how Minecraft works and how they do it.
So lazy.
So,
yeah.
Well, it is lazy, but it's also, you know, if they do that on one, they've got to start doing that for all sorts. And that's when you start getting problems with textures and different packs. And then when people are making resource packs, they've got loads more work to do. So it is a big thing to do once you start getting into that. And that goes back, I can't remember what it was, but there was a block in the game for years that its texture was off because they couldn't figure out how to make that texture work around stairs. And I can't remember which one it was. And we know, like, the what's it called, the dry kelp block, the lines on that have been off for years on Bedrock Edition. I think they've finally fixed that now, haven't they?
Yeah.
So texturing and resource pack stuff, it seems easy from our point of view because we're only looking at one at a time, but when you're looking at a whole resource pack, I think it becomes quite complicated. So yeah, laziness to a certain extent, I guess, but I think it's for the right reasons.
Yep, I would agree. Next one's from, oh God, Milnesy? Is that how you say that one? I always get that name.
I always say Milnesy.
Milnesy.
Milnesy?
I wonder which of us are right in this situation. We're
Sorry,
probably both wrong.
Milnesy.
Yeah, we're probably both wrong. Right. Merry Christmas, Foxy and Slack. Well, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you. Now,
yes, thank you very much for that. Appreciate it.
Okay, so that was a short one. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this next one here from Blue Shigatsu, which is, I like how things are going with the podcast. I will mention with regards to using others' work, I believe it's just common courtesy to ask if you're making a tutorial or on a farm. If making a farm in an SMP world, I think a mention and link to the creator, at least in the description of that, should be done. I hope that you both have a wonderful Christmas.
Okay, yeah. So basically, what we were talking about in the last podcast was the fact that we weren't sure whether, well, we couldn't really come to an opinion either way on whether it was a good thing or a bad thing if another YouTuber or another content creator takes a farm that somebody's already made and then does their own tutorial on it, but credits them. Because on one hand, they've credited that person, which is giving them recognition. And on the other hand, they're going, hey, I want the views for that tutorial as well, because that's good. So there's good and bad. So we were basically discussing that. So what Blue's there saying, she agrees that, you know, it's common courtesy to ask first before you do that. And then, you know, if you're using it in a survival world or something like that, just, you know, mention it or put a link in the description to the original, which is fair. I completely agree with that.
Yeah, it's fair if you remember to do it. And let's face this fact too, Foxy. You know as well as I do, you're pretty much, unless it's a new game mechanic, not going to come up with something that somebody hasn't done 100 times.
Oh, yeah. And actually finding out who the original person was is almost impossible in a lot of scenarios. So unless it's something really unique that you've come up with, chances are someone's, even if you don't know about it, someone's already done it before you or someone else has done it at the same time. And then you got the other argument then is, well, that person credited the wrong person. And then that person's getting told off for crediting someone else. And you're like, well, who do I credit then? Or do you know what? This is just so complicated. I'm not going to credit anybody. So
exactly. Content creation gets very dangerous very quick, doesn't it?
It does. Do you know what wouldn't be dangerous?
What's that?
Not using someone else's thing in your video. But we all do it because we see good ideas in places and we think, you know what, I want to use that good idea in my own way because I think that will add to what I'm doing. So I get it. It's fine.
What do you mean? What do you mean you got an iron farm on the server and I can't have one? Excuse me? No.
No, I got dibs on iron farms. Slack, you can't have it.
I got like 4. I'm sorry. You can't argue.
Well, you better get them torn down because I built mine after yours, but technically I wanted to do it before you, but I didn't have time. So
technically, I want $1 million, and I mean, I heard you got a little bit of money, so you can just give that to me to help me get to my million.
I got what? That'd be nice. Wow. Okay. Speaking of a little bit of money, Slack. Wow. Do you know what? Do you remember in Truly Bedrock season 1, I donned the persona SlackLizard, and I made some rap songs, and I put them on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Guess how much money I've made from those songs on Spotify, Slack?
25 cents.
No, I've made more. Well, at face value, in what are we, 2 years later, a year later, 18 months later, something like that.
Something like that.
I have made $8.72. However, I've now had to pay for 2 years worth of subscription to the thing that allows me to actually put them up there, which costs me $20 a year. And if I take that money out of there, if I actually withdraw it, it costs me $5 for the payout plus an extra $5 fee and then 10%. So I've made about minus $50.
Yeah. Nice.
So for a year's worth of work. So that's good news.
Oh, that's very impressive. Very impressive, Foxy.
Yeah. where were we up to?
I think it's Jason.
Jason Edwards. I don't like how they took Slacks and your iron farm just to get more likes and views. I watched the knockoff video. He even gives bad info like telling you it has to be at least 25 blocks off the ground. It's just not right. So much BS in that video. Jeez, Slack, that was nearly swearing. I do agree with you, but I think I gave the same info in my video. It wasn't so much you have to do that in mine. It was like, it's a good idea to do it a few blocks off the ground just so that you're not going to have any issues with iron golem spawning on the floor. And I think, obviously, with them not being a Bedrock Edition player, they've watched that video and just taken that as fact. You need to do that. So they've just put that in their video. So I just... a bit of shows a lack of research and understanding, but I get it. And, you know, like I say, I'm not going to complain because I've got the recognition from being in that. I've got them crediting me, so I'm fine with it. It's not a problem. Well,
let's also point out that when we made that iron farm, mechanics were just a little bit different. You can pretty much build that thing on the ground now and golems spawn on the upmost layer now.
Yes. Yeah, I have noticed that. It seems a lot more stable and a lot less cats as well. Have you noticed that? Don't get any cats in it now.
No cats. Once it starts producing iron golems, there's no cats.
Yeah. Somebody commented on my video where I built it on Truly Bedrock and said, oh, you won't get cats now because cats needs, the villagers have to have sky access for cats to spawn. But it's leaf blocks. So they're clear, I guess. And cats are spawning inside my cave, which has no sky access. So I don't think that's right. I don't know what the difference is. I don't know what's happened in 1.18, but I'm glad that there's just not constantly cats dying in my iron golem farm.
Yeah, because hearing that, and then you get the comments in your videos, I can't watch your videos because... Right, anyways, moving on.
Well, and I don't know, maybe it is connected, maybe it's not, maybe it's just me... wishful thinking, but I feel like because we're not getting cat spawning, I'm getting more regular iron golem spawning.
I think so too. Like there's like an iron golem kicking off like every like 3.5 seconds, it feels like.
Yeah, and do you get 2 in each one of your farms? I load mine up with 20 villagers.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. Things. There's almost always 2 golems dying.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, lots of iron, many.
I love it. That's a welcome change. Don't bring the cats back, please. Okay, thanks. If anybody from Mojang's listening, Jeff, look, Jeff, just this one time, leave it as is. Just saying.
Yeah, don't fill with it, Jeff.
Just walk away. Yeah, more cats. Okay, no golems, more cats. It's not what I said, Jeff.
All right, what does Kane say, Slack?
All right, Kane. At first, I wasn't sure if I liked this particular format. I listened to episode 3 straight through, and I plan to backtrack to the first 2. Okay, well, you can do that. Like Slack said, it's a nice change, and I believe it's very entertaining and informative, and definitely something I'll continue viewing. Cheers, Foxy and Slack.
Well, there you go. That's nice. That turned out from what was almost a negative to a very positive. They weren't sure about the podcast, and it turns out, they liked it so much they're actually going to go back and watch the other episodes. So that's really nice.
I've had a lot of feedback from people inside my community that love to put the podcast on while they're doing other things. And I get asked quite often, when's the next one? When's the next one? When's the next one? We do other videos too. But it's like they're like, no, we need more podcasts.
Fridays.
Okay.
Fridays, guys. It's on Fridays.
Okay? Fridays.
Unless I'm being really lazy or I'm stuck or lost somewhere, it'll be a Friday. All right? Okay.
No, because then I'm going to yell at you, okay? Consistency is key here.
Right, okay. Well, you'll have to do it if I get stuck or lost somewhere, all right? Jeez.
Okay, all right. Well, next feedback.
Melkor Killdead says, this podcast was a great listen. Maybe invite some others from TB periodically to join as a guest. Could be a good place to just chill and chat. Well, Mr. Melkor Killdead, I think we've mentioned it a couple of times now. It is absolutely what we do intend to do probably quite soon, I would have thought, Slack.
Yeah, we're getting there. We said we wanted to do at least the first, I think it was 4 or 5 ourselves to get a feel for the flow and everything like that before we introduce someone else into it.
Yeah. And I feel like we're getting there now. It feels like that we're onto something. We've got a good feel for this.
Wait a minute. We already have our TB hangout. Wait, why don't we just record that and upload that?
Well, the TB meetings that we categorically aren't allowed to share any information about, otherwise we get banned from TV. This is a good idea. Very good idea. I like it. Yes. They'll never know it's us, Slack. We'll get away with it.
Okay. Well, yeah, we can use voice disguisers at the end of the day. And they'll never know who put it out, right? We'll just bleep out this section of the of this podcast where we're talking about it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
Okay. Okay, good. All right. So next we got Serenette? Serenetti?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Sarnet?
Names. I'm telling you, as content creators and streamers, we're one service we offer that is always top notch is butchering of names. I'm just saying.
We will get your name wrong. Even if it's spelled perfectly, we'll get it wrong.
Yeah, without a doubt. Okay, so all content has probably already been covered. Like Slack said, not everybody watches everyone. That's a fair point. And even the people that do watch everybody, we probably like seeing different ways that it's done or a different editing style. I personally like watching different perspectives, even if it's technically the same content. Keep doing what you guys are doing. I love it. I'm guessing they're referring to like two people putting out the same farm.
Yeah, exactly. And do you know what? This is a really good point. I was looking forward to getting to this one because that actually does lead me onto something that I think is a perfectly valid thing. So I did my version of the Iron Farm tutorial in a really was supposed to be funny and upbeat and fun way, but it wasn't really your bog standard normal tutorial, right? It wasn't, hey, place this block and you need 15 of those and place that. Yours was completely different. And the guy, Avomance's one, again, was completely different. So now you've got as a viewer, 3 different ways to watch that, which is, I'll pick that one because I can follow that one better because it suits the way I like to watch things. Or I haven't got much time, so I'll watch Foxy's because it's quick and to the point and I can pretty much figure the rest out for myself. So it's really, I think, from a viewer's perspective, yeah, absolutely great. Brilliant. The more, the better.
I would agree on that. It's kind of like going into our Let's Play episodes too. One of the things that kills me is, like, let's say we record an episode together. Okay. We've got totally different editing styles. We got totally different editors anyways. But anyways.
I don't have one anymore. I fired him. He doesn't know yet. I haven't told him, but I've been doing them all myself, Slack, and I'm enjoying it. So I'm not going to be using an editor for a while.
Okay. Well, I love my editor. He's like my best friend. I loved editing content at the beginning of my YouTube start, but now it's such a reprieve and a break to have someone else that wants to do it. And they're a fan, so it's great. But where I was going with this, we could both record a collab together and they're going to be edited totally different.
Yes.
It's it's like not even watching the same content, even though, because we'll leave in and cut out totally different things.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I was going with that. Just saying.
I agree. Yeah, sometimes, I mean, we've been through phases where we've just been like, okay, we need to do another collab, and we've left out all the junk, and we've just recorded very specific clips. And when we do that, they're very similar videos at the end of it, which are not as fun as entertaining. When we just hit the record button and just record for a couple of hours, it's a much better video, or 2 better videos that come out of the end of it, because as we edit them in different ways, we do different things. But the editing process is an absolute nightmare. I hate it. I hate it so much. When we do a collab and we've been recording for like 4 or 5 hours and then I have to go through it all again and try and find the fun bits. It's great when you get to the end point, but spending 4 or 5 hours editing a video like that is like driving nails through your head.
We always go into a talk and you're like, I forgot all about that when you looked at something out of mine. You're like, did we do that in that episode? Yeah. Well, I didn't get to that clip. Well, how far did you get? Well, I did clips 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I saw there was 7 through 15, and I was just like, yeah, I'm just skipping all that. Well, that's where it was.
Yeah, I know. I get it's, and I don't mean that in a nasty way. It's not that I didn't enjoy it or I don't enjoy watching it back, because there's some genuinely funny stuff there. But we've literally just done it, and all I want to do is edit that and put it out so you guys can watch it. And I don't want to miss any of the good stuff. I don't want to lose any of the stuff that you guys might have enjoyed. And I'm permanently making decisions. Where's a good point to start that, and where's a good point to stop that? And I'm also considering this needs to make sense as I'm editing it. I can't just cut out a big chunk and go, oh, well, I don't need that anymore, because it might have had an important thing that leads on to something we do a little bit later, or a joke we make later. So it's a slow process doing videos like that. So yeah, but they are much better and they come out much better, which is why I think doing one of those regularly is good, but not too regularly.
Yeah. I'll tell you, some of my favorite episodes were the ones where we had absolutely no plan and we just hit record.
Yeah, and I definitely enjoy recording like that better. And I do enjoy the videos like that when I've finished editing them.
Well, I mean, technically, I don't have to go. Foxy, you want to do a long collab? I don't have to edit no more. I just realized.
Exactly. I know. Isn't that why I approached getting an editor in the first place? Because we were doing so many collabs. But no, I've really gotten into enjoying editing again this season, and it's one of those. I actually look forward to opening up my editing software and putting the videos together, and I'm just getting a kick out of it right now. So yeah, I'm sorry, Dylan. But you're on the backbench. You're a substitute that surplus to requirements. At
lead quarterback's in for a while, everybody. Lead quarterback's in for a while.
You haven't done anything wrong. You're not in trouble, but it's not you. It's me.
Oh, right. Moving on from that one. Victim out here. I didn't want it to end. A discussion of the changing times and time. And the trip down memory lane, tied together in the end with Foxy and Slack dynamic. Podcasts, yeah, podcasts, videos, yeah. Wait, right?
Yeah, thank you, Victim. Victim's got a few questions as well, which we'll be getting to shortly. But before we do that, we are now going into the email section of the podcast. People have actually been using the email address this week, Slack.
I'm actually shocked, to be fair.
I know. And they've been putting feedback or question in the subject as well. I can't believe it. I'm over the moon.
That seems too simple.
It does, doesn't it? Chris Beasley says, I love the podcast. You two made me laugh so much in your last podcast. I think people using other people's videos to make their video their own. Oh, my goodness me. Slack, me and you are butchering these.
We're good at that.
I think people using other people's videos to make a video of their own isn't right. If they contacted you and asked for permission, I think it would be different, like you did with Slack. But just giving someone credit, I don't think is enough. My question, oh my God, I didn't know there was a question here. Jeez. Is about your previous podcast. And you, oh no, I remember why I left this one in now, because it wasn't really much of a question and I can answer it quickly. My question is about your previous podcast, and you mentioned you were going to check out any looting effect on swords and what affected it from working properly. I know you're both busy, but it's one bug that's been bugging me. I did say I was going to fiddle with it and check it all out, and I went to start doing it, and then it was just one of those days where I just was not having a good day. My brain wasn't working right, and I just couldn't figure out the best way of doing it, so I didn't. What about you, Slack? Have you done any testing?
No. It just it feels like looting is broke. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. It just, I don't know. You know, why don't we just create a pack to make all drops double, and then we're good, right?
That would be easy. I mean, it's just a case of fiddling with the loot tables. You can take the looting effect out of the loot tables and just make, or we can make the looting multiplier not random. We can make the looting multiplier like a fixed number. So yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, looting 1, you get, 1 extra. Looting 2, you get 2 extra. Looting 3, you get 3 extra. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, we'll do that. No problem. Yeah. I'll just give me a minute, Slack.
Okay.
Or not. Anyway, Clay. Oh no, it's not. It's not me. It's you.
Oh, Clay Harris here with Hey Foxy and Slack. Hope you had a good holiday. Well, to be fair, thank you.
Yes.
I wanted to say I thought y'all were doing an amazing job with the cast. I like this guy already. I'm just saying. Yeah, I like this guy.
Yeah, I'm all over it.
With the last cast being 2.5 hours, I really enjoyed it. I worked the night shift job for 12 hours a day, and it helped pass the time faster. I really enjoyed the banter between you two and can't wait to see how things will go in the future. Uh-oh, here we go with the next part. I did have a suggestion that may or may not make it into the cast. So this is the point where we can still cut this out. I'm just saying.
I'm ready. I've got the scissors.
Okay. But after listening to the last episode, when y'all were reviewing the notes from the NVIDIA thing, it made me think that maybe you could put reference photos or something in the video version of the episode, so those who have the ability to watch and not just listen might be able to see what y'all are looking at. Also, you won't have to put all the links and info in that you're talking about in the description. Just a thought.
Can I answer this one, Slack?
I feel like this is going to be like a TV one, but yes, please.
Right. I don't know when to put the videos in. Is this before or after the bouncing screensaver in the Windows 98 sound effects? Now, the joy of a podcast, from my perspective, is that it should be simple. It should be me and Slack sitting down, recording, and just putting it out for you guys to listen to. In reality, it takes me 2 or 3 hours to edit a podcast because there's a lot of noise on it. There's a lot of effects I need to put through on the vocals to make sure that they don't sound all over the place and that they're all compressed so that they're not loud.
Are you trying to say that I've got a very loud noise background that you have to deal with?
Yes, I am. There's also sections the bits that I cut out that don't work well together, or bits where me and Slack are talking over each other and I try and separate them so you can hear what we're both saying, because I have a habit of cutting people off when they're mid-sentence. A very bad habit. So if it was the case that I would then have to start going and screen recording stuff and all of that sort of stuff to add in there as well, then we just wouldn't happen. The podcast would just not happen. It would just become something. It'd just be another video to put out that we don't have time to do. So the podcast should be as quick and as painless as possible to throw together and do, so that we can do them weekly without any stress about it. That being said, it would be great to do that. And if we do get to a point, which we did say, I don't know if we said publicly, but at the beginning, where we end up live streaming us actually recording these podcasts, which is what I'd like to do via, what's it called? Discord stages, is it?
Yeah. Discord stages is what we discussed.
There's no reason why we couldn't have the screen capture of the show notes that we're looking at and what we're looking through at the same time on that. And there's no reason that couldn't be recorded and put out as part of the video. But that feels like quite a private and intimate thing to be sharing with the people that are there at the time, rather than post. I don't know. There's just a podcast for me.
Can I interject here for just a moment?
Yeah.
It's a podcast. It's not a video. Literally, it's meant to be listened to, not seen. Think of it as a radio thing. I don't listen to a podcast. I don't watch it. I listen. Does that make sense? I go to listen to a podcast, not watch it.
Yeah, but if the radio presenter's then saying, hey, look at this thing that I can see, but you can't see, it's irritating, isn't it? Because you want to look at it. So I get it. I understand that. So that's on us. We probably shouldn't be going, hey, look at this video we've just seen on the Bug Report website that you guys can't see while you're at work doing your 12-hour night shift.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. Look, this is something new for both of us doing together. Yeah, you know, I know you've done podcasts in the past, but this is one where we're doing together, and we've got to establish, this is why we said we were starting off with just me and you at first before we get any guests in. We need to get our flow down, our format down, what we can and can't do, what works and what doesn't work.
Exactly. And I think we're on it. I think we got it. I think we're doing a good job.
I think we're getting there.
So, yeah, I appreciate the suggestion, but there's many reasons why it's not going to happen. But thank you very much. Feel free to check out all of the links in the show notes, which link to all of the things we were looking at.
Indeed.
Doctor02 says, hello. I just listened to your second episode of the podcast, and there was a part where Foxy talks about labeling people in categories. I've never thought of it like that. Thank you for this new perspective. I completely agree with what you said. It was a fun episode and enjoyed every minute of it. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad somebody agrees with me on my distinct hatred of labels and categories. I don't want to be put in a box, thank you. And yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I agree. Next was Ori. I'm going to go with Ori. My name is Ori. The podcast is very nice, but sometimes you concentrate too much on one topic.
Now, this was the person that gave us feedback last week with the name that was symbols. So I don't know if it was like
it was a different language font.
Yeah, exactly. A different font. So, but yeah, they're telling us what their name was because we didn't know their name.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good. Sometimes you concentrate too much on one topic. I think that's kind of the nature of a podcast.
Yeah, generally speaking, we would probably have one particular topic of discussion to give us the meat in our plate of podcasts. So if you imagine the news and the feedback and the questions are just sort of the bits around the vegetables and the garnish, but the real meat of it should be a topic that we can elaborate on and talk about and tear to pieces. Otherwise, how are we going to come up with just banter for every single week for the same thing? We need something to talk about, which is great when we've got a news heavy week like we had a couple of weeks ago, where there was just so much news we could talk about it for ages. But when there isn't stuff like that, to have a focus is really helpful for a podcast to discuss. And most podcasts, or I think most podcasts, at least a lot of podcasts, will do that.
You know what? It's young. We'll see how the viewers like it in time.
Yeah, then we'll just, well, at the end of the day, we're not going to force how we do it. It's just going to be, this is the structure, where that might change over time. But at the end of the day, it's just me and Slack talking. We're not being
exactly. I mean,
people,
some of these things here we've talked about in great detail on feedback. We're literally on the feedback. We're not even up to the questions yet, and we're talking about this in great detail. So yeah, sometimes it might be something where we just like, oh, your name is all right, cool, and we just move on. You know,
yeah,
and it is what it is.
Lawful Meteor says, Foxy and Slack, these podcasts are the most open and honest discussions about Minecraft I have heard. It's great hearing old friends talking about important topics and having fun doing so. Please keep up the great work. Very informative and entertaining. I'm really enjoying the feedback today, Slack. It's very nice, isn't it?
I am too. I'm still baffled that we got these from email. Thank you all. Just saying.
Yeah, keep them coming. It's nice getting them in the emails because they're in the right place. It's easy to fish them out. Me and Slack can see them. You see, this might come as a shock to both of you, but I don't think Slack's in my Discord, and I'm not in Slack's Discord. So I can't see any feedback you're leaving on his, and he can't see any feedback you're leaving on mine. So it's nice that you do it in the emails or in the YouTube comments, because we can both see them then. Although it's easy for me to see them on the YouTube comments because it's going out on my second channel as opposed to yours. But
it still makes it easier. The emails are very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Next on the list, we have James Edwards. Is that where we're up to? Looks like it is.
Before you do that, the other good thing about the emails is there's no chatter in between them. So on the Discord, someone will leave some feedback and then there'll be a discussion, which is great. And I love it. And I don't want that to stop on the Discords because that's what Discord's there for. But then going back and trying to find the original bit is harder, whereas in the emails it's just there and no one's replied to it because they can't see it.
Yeah, and it's really easy. So be like, oh, Foxy, we got an email. Did you read that? Yeah, I did. That was pretty good. All right.
Yeah. So you could leave an email and drop the same feedback in the Discord so that people can discuss it, and then we can still see it there listed in the email. You know,
exactly.
Anyway,
right.
Sorry, Slack.
Jason Edwards here. Well, the more I think about them making a video tutorial on Slack and your iron farm, the more upset it makes me. They are just looking for views and stealing others' work to do that. I hate the other guy is just taking money out of your pocket. It's one thing to ask you if they can use your build on a world, but don't show them how to build it. Add a link in the description of the video back to where they got the build from. Anyways, love the podcast. Enjoying season 4.
So yeah, just another side to the opinions on the video sharing, and I think that's one of the angles that we were looking at last week, wasn't it? Is it taking away our views? Is it taking away our YouTube revenue? I think between us, we've kind of said it's not really, is it? To an extent,
for the most part, as far as views and stuff like that go, no. It's not affecting it in that regard.
If there were two very similar channels and one was substantially more views than the other one, and the smaller one, every single video that one put out was copied by the other one, and they were done in a same way or a very similar editing style in a very similar and similarly basically in a similar way, then I think there'd be an argument to say, hey, look, this is absolutely stopping this smaller channel from getting anywhere. It is affecting their revenue. It is affecting their growth because they're being held back by the very fact that this other channel is doing exactly the same thing and soaking up all of those views. But when there's different thumbnails, different editing styles, different ways of producing it, different ways of publishing it, different audiences, different circles we mentioned, the different groups of people that are watching them, it's very hard to say, yes, that is definitely, and you know, it's not happening in every single video. It's happening on maybe 1 out of 100.
Yeah.
You know, if a YouTube channel is solely relying on that one video that's been copied for their income, then they've got a problem.
Then they're doing it wrong. Yeah. Then they're doing it wrong. Yeah. Let's look at TB as a whole here in this exact same situation. We're going to have some people that will watch all of TB, but for the most part, all of our individual communities are our individual communities. Yeah. It is what it is. There's going to be some overlap, but you know, I can go live on TB and I'm going to pull my core. I can go live on a different server and I'm going to pull my core. You know, they're going to follow me, kind of like your core is going to follow you. You know, there's going to be some overlap. Sure. Am I going to go live on TB and pull more viewers? Yeah, because there's that overall branching group from the whole group. There's going to be certain people who will watch all of TB just because it's TB alone. But then there's going to be some people who will only watch Foxy. There'll be some people who only watch me. So it's annoying, as we said, but at the end of the day, no, I don't think it breaks a channel's ability to grow by another channel doing that. No.
Let's look at this another couple of ways. And first of all, I'm going to just pick this up on what you said about Twitch there. Slack and I and 2 or 3 other YouTube Truly Bedrock members can go live on Twitch at the same time, and we will still pull almost our usual numbers. Now, if I'm live and let's say Slack goes live or Groover goes live or Mr. Beardstone goes live, you will notice there is a minor drop in my numbers as those people go, oh, I want to watch them instead because I like them a little bit more, and vice versa. If they're live and I go live, then a couple of people will drop from those and come to mine. And that's natural, that happens. But like Slack said, that core audience, the people that are there, will watch you. And some people will even open up 2 streams at the same time and watch both, which is crazy, but they do.
They do.
So that just goes to show you that the content really doesn't suffer too much from that. But when it becomes to a tutorial or something like that, that's a specific piece of content, the thing I think where the place you're battling the most isn't whose home page it feeds upon, or it's later on down the line when it's this YouTube search. The battle for views comes in how good is your thumbnail, how good is your title and description, and how good can you lock people in to get yourself ranked higher in YouTube search for the thing you want to be found for. If you're at the top of Easy Iron Farm for Minecraft Bedrock Edition, you're going to get more views than anybody, regardless of how big their channel is. Right?
Yeah, and it's also annoying that part of that's calculated by views per hour too. This is where it's like crucial when a video comes out that it gets the views, you know. YouTube, God, we need to save that for another stream or a podcast, because we could go into YouTube analytics all day long. We're both going to be heavily opinionated on that.
Well, I tell you what, there's an opportunity for some feedback. If you would like a podcast where the focus of the podcast is talking about YouTube analytics and Twitch analytics and those sorts of things, then let us know, because I'm sure some people will find that interesting, and a lot of people will probably think I really couldn't care less about that.
Yeah, if you have questions about that, absolutely do let us know. Sorry, I jumped in over you there. I pulled a Foxy.
No, that's fine. I know I always do it to you, so you can do it to me once in a while. I don't mind.
All right, so if you would like to hear information about YouTube analytics or our views on them or Twitch analytics, you want to tell them where they need to send a message to, Foxy?
theminecraftupdatepod at gmail.com.
Right.
There you go. I got it. I remembered it this time. I did a good job.
Oh, wait, it's your turn.
Right, where are we up to? Victim Born says, Season 0 is by far my favourite, mostly because it introduced me to a host of excellent creators. The annexing of Slack's woodshop is a pivotal moment for me, as that's when I started subscribing to all the different members of TB, starting with Slack. What do you think?
Oh, that woodshop. The first woodshop underneath the house. That was still my favorite episode to record. It's a short episode. It's like 10 minutes. I was so happy with that. It was so much fun to record, and it got like no views.
Oh, bless you.
None.
Oh, no.
None.
That's awful. When that happens.
Sad Slack there.
I know. When you think about that and you look back at some videos you've been really, really proud of, and even now they've got no views, and you're like, oh, please.
Right. It's like I literally one morning, there's TV episodes that literally I could name, but I'm not going to. It's like you wake up and you're like, I need to do a video. I don't feel like it. And you just throw together the whatever, a farm. Yeah. You record it in 2 hours, an episode. You put it out and it gets like 5,000 views. Yet that video you spent all week recording and editing, you made a beautiful thumbnail for it and everything, and you dropped it and it got 200 views. You're like, yep, good talk. Thank you very much, YouTube, for smacking me in the face for doing something that wasn't a farm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Moving on from that, we got Charles Hazelwood here that says, hi, Foxy and Slack. I am really enjoying the new podcast, but I missed the My Week section that was in the previous one. Also, I'm trying to put together a playlist using all your music that is in your videos, Foxy, but I'm finding it difficult to find a lot of them. Is there anywhere where I can find a full audio library?
Okay, a couple of bits that confuse me about it. Well, one bit that confuses me about this one is the bit where they say, I missed the My Week section of the previous one. So when I was doing the podcast many ago, before I put my goat on the left, apparently, I used to have a little jingle that came in and it ended up with My Week, and I would talk about my week. But now we do that, but it just doesn't have a jingle and it's called This Week. So it's still there. But it's because me and Slack doing the podcast now, it's this week, or we could even call it our week rather than my week, you know?
So, this week in Minecraft.
So it's still there. For finding the music in my videos, I've done all sorts of different silly songs and stuff in my videos over the years. I don't have a specific place where all of them are. But as I've already mentioned briefly earlier in this video, actually, I have put some of the tracks. There will be 4 by the end of next week on Spotify, Apple Music, and all of those things, which we've done. So yeah, you can find some, but they won't have any of the copyrighted stuff like the Mr. Onion's Revenge Disney music, because I can't upload those because they're parody, and I can't put the original PB&K song because it had the Nether update music in it. So those ones you'll just have to find on my channel. Maybe I should make a playlist for my music specifically on my channel. That might be a good idea to do. But no, I don't have anywhere where it's just got everything.
Little no-tail playlist. Yep.
That'd be good, wouldn't it?
That'd be good. Oh, Foxy, I'm just looking here. I don't know if we're going to cover this or not. The next feedback thing.
I know, it's from Dylan.
Isn't that the guy you just fired?
Yeah, just, oh, jeez. It says, please, can I have my job back? It doesn't. Dylan, the Dylan art says, I really miss editing your video. It doesn't say that. It says, why did you fire me? It doesn't. Sorry. It says, I just wanted to say I'm the first person to rate the podcast on Spotify. I am really enjoying these podcasts and I'm excited to see more in the future. Personally, I don't like people uploading other people's farms at all, and I always work to find the original. But if the re-uploader changes the farm, I think it's okay as long as they give credit. Another very good point there. Yeah, changing it, making it something different, making it something unique, and then crediting the original person. Why not? Sounds legit.
Yeah. It's like if you come out with a farm and I'm like, oh, but I can do it this way and change it. As long as it's not just, hey, I'm going to change it from oak leaves to acacia leaves. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Or if like someone went better than Slack's iron farm or better than Slack's honey farm, that wouldn't go down well, would it? Slack?
What if I made a better than Avo iron farm and put like his character on the thumbnail crying, and it's literally our farm? Would I be doing anything wrong then?
Let's not poke the bear. Anyway, that's enough of the feedback section. We have no more feedback, which takes us on to our questions section, which we got a lot of questions. If you thought we had a lot of feedback, we're already over an hour into this podcast now, or you think, you know, this could be another 2.5 hours by the time we finish this. I hope my kids are all right. I've told them I'm going to be an hour, and I've already been an hour and 15 minutes. It'll be fine. Let's make our way through these questions.
I'll let you start with the first one today because, well, that's a book.
Okay, the first question is from Clay Harris. This is from the emails, and it says, "Hey guys, I'm sure there are a lot of people that have thought about this, but in the last episode you were discussing the need for inventory management. What if, for late game, they just made an ender chest inventory twice as big, the size of a double chest? I think in late game this would alleviate some of the needs of having all of the shulkers but not having the room, like Foxy said about running out of room in his boxes, or for his boxes. But then that might bring up the thing of is doubling the size of an ender chest big enough? Would it satisfy people, or would they constantly be wanting more? Ow, jeez. It was written really well at the beginning of this email. Now, either my eyes have fallen asleep while I'm reading it, or maybe they dropped the phone on the floor while they were typing it. I don't know. Anyway, as for early game storage, I think bundles were a good idea, just not executed properly. I hear people saying that backpacks are a good idea, but why not call the inventory we currently have a backpack, having an actual addition to the skin as well? The catch is, instead of having a backpack, bundles, etc., allow the current backpack to be upgraded, maybe an enchantment or something you can get late in game. I don't know, just a thought. Slack, do you want to go first?
You've got more topics on this one, but I can. The in-game inventory is the problem because we got too many blocks and not enough places to put them. Like yeah. I'm already struggling on TB just to build a single redstone device. I don't have enough room for building blocks, redstone, torches, observers, everything in my inventory. I don't have enough room. I don't. The first thing I can think of to help would be at least a 2-page inventory and the ability to bind hotbars, the bar to a key, maybe. I don't know. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, get into that part in a second. Basically the ender chest idea being double the size. I think that's a great idea, but that's not going to solve any problems for me personally. It will solve a very small problem of being able to take more stuff with me, but it doesn't solve the problem of then having to get your entire ender chest out, all your shulker boxes on the floor and going through them all and getting all of the bits out, because the shulker boxes effectively don't hold enough storage. If we could have upgradable shulker boxes that we could, or netherite shulker boxes, by the way, that'd be good, that we could have more in, that would be great. But yeah, the problem for me, the main problem or the biggest problem, is the fact that there is just not enough player inventory for all of the things I want to hold. Now, Minecraft has 9 slots of inventory, which is because there is the keyboard numbers 1 to 9. In fact, there's technically 1 to 0, but we've got 1 to 9 because in the good old days, it used to be when you were switching your weapons in an FPS shooter, you would use the numbers 1 to 9 to switch between them. I would say a lot of Minecraft players still play on the keyboard, but for me, I don't use those numbers anymore. I scroll with my mouse wheel, or I select it from my inventory. I would say there's a lot of things we could do. We've already got certain mods, and I think even in Java Edition, you've got the ability to change your actual hotbars. So you've got like 3 different hotbars, and you can cycle between what's in your hotbars. There's another game that does that as well. I can't think what it is. Is it Valheim? No. There's another game where you can cycle through your hotbars anyway, so you can have your different hotbar setups, which is great. But just going, well, hang on a minute. We've got a widescreen display here. Why don't we have 12 slots or 15 slots on the hotbar? Make the entire inventory a bit wider and give us more space. Or, like Slack said, just double it up. Have twice as much inventory. Make the inventory the size of a double chest. But I do really like this idea of an enchantment or something you can level up the player's inventory. And I was thinking about that after I first read this email, and I thought, if that was the case, let's say when you've only got 10 levels of XP, you actually have a limited space. Let's say you've only got 1 line of inventory space. And then when you get 20 levels, you get 2 lines, 3 levels, and it goes up that way. And then let's say you were level 100 and you've got massive inventory space and you're carrying all that stuff and you die, then the challenge is not only getting back to your stuff, then you've got to get back to your stuff and find somewhere to put it, which I think could be a really interesting mechanic. I don't know if I'd want that in survival Minecraft. Slack shooting me through the webcam there. I don't know if I'd want that in survival Minecraft, but I would love an adventure map based on that mechanic. You know, there may be like my Infinity Dungeon map where you go into the map and the more levels you've got, the more you can carry, and you've got to get out the map with as much good loot as possible. But if you die, you can't carry it all, or something like that. I don't know.
Well, if you unlock spots, they need to be permanent unlocked. Is my only thought with that. So like, okay, so you maybe with advancements or achievements or something like that. So you defeat the Ender Dragon. Okay, you get another inventory for that. You defeat a Wither, you get another inventory for that. So now you have 3 pages of inventory.
What about, instead of that, because if you're on a multiplayer server, only one of you can kill the Ender Dragon unless you're going to respawn it, I guess. But what if you had the different armor that you wore gave you, you know how like if you find a donkey, it's got a certain number of health and it'll run at a certain speed and it'll have a certain amount of chest inventory, won't it?
Right.
That's randomized based on the donkey.
Right.
What if when you made a piece of armor and you got a specific enchantment on it, maybe like an inventory expansion enchantment on that armor, that would give you a certain amount more inventory space. And maybe there's a trade-off there, like the Elytra and the chestplate trade-off. If you wear a helmet of storage capacity, which is a wooden helmet, let's say, or something like that. So the armor's not as good, but it allows you to carry loads more stuff.
Maybe. Oh, I just thought of a really bad idea.
Go on.
Okay, so imagine you got your hotbar down there, obviously slots 1 through 9, right? And you're saying nobody uses it no more. They just go to scroll wheel. I noticed I do that too. I was sitting here thinking about it, but I remap a lot of my keys. But anyways, okay. So let's say 1 through 9 are locked in. Okay, that's the only way to move. Hit 1, hit 2, hit 3, hit 4, hit 5, hit 6, and so on and so forth. All right, so you got 1 through 9. What if instead of all right? So you got the what is that word? Horizontal. So 1 through 9. What if when you were on 1, you also had a vertical column of like 5 slots?
Oh, okay. So you can cycle through inventory slot 1.
Yeah. So like inventory slot 1 could be all your tools, say your pickaxe, your shovel, your axe.
Okay.
So you could hit 1 and you could scroll your mouse wheel up to slot 3.
Okay. Or like
or slot 4.
If you press 1 and then press it again, it goes to the next one, and then press it again, it goes to the next one, and goes to the next one.
Exactly.
Or even like the emote wheel where you press B and it comes up with that selection. What if you hold 1 and it comes up with that selection and you can click the one you want? Something like that.
Exactly. So now you got, say each slot has 5 additional slots, okay? And say they're their own inventory space.
Yeah.
Or so now let's double up our inventory size, bloop, to the size of a double chest, and let's give each slot the option to slot 5 items. So you hit 1 and you hold it and you choose, I want my pick. You hit 1, you hold it, I want my axe.
Yeah.
You hit slot 7, which is where you keep your stone variations. I want stone, or I want my stone brick. I want my stone wall.
Yeah. And then if you hold shift and press 1, it will go backwards a slot. So you got like, let's say your sword is in the 5th slot and your axe is in the 2nd slot and your pickaxe is the 1st slot. You want to switch from your pickaxe to your axe, you press 1. If you want to go back to your sword, hold shift and press 1 twice. And it goes back down. That's a really good idea. The only thing I would say about that is you would have to have it so that the inventory remembered what was supposed to go where. Like you'd have to have it so it remembered that's a sword slot, that's a pickaxe slot. Because if you've got that all set up, you've got all of your building stuff set up, you've got your tools in the right place, you've got all your building stuff in the right place, and you die and you drop your entire inventory, you've now got to reshuffle all of that into... Well,
that's consequences of dying.
No, that would be so infuriating.
No, I'm sorry, but that's the consequence of dying.
Yeah, but how many times do you die because of bugs?
Knock on wood, I haven't died yet this season.
Well, fine, good.
I don't think FoxyNoTail qualifies as a bug. I'm just saying.
I think 5 per hotbar is probably a bit greedy. I think 3 per hotbar would probably be reasonable, because then you've got another 27 slots, haven't you? Or you've got 27 slots with a hotbar.
What if the second page of the inventory, okay, leave the inventory just like it is and put a page tab on it.
Yeah.
3 bars. Second page, on the second page, you got 3 lines.
Yeah.
What's in those lines correlate to slots 1 through 9 vertically.
Yeah, that would work. Or if you're going to do different pages, why not have a hotbar per page? So you can switch between your, like, let's say your first page is your toolbar. Like you've got your tools and your torches and your rockets and your stuff on there and the stuff that you general use. And then you flick this page 2 and your hotbar becomes your building.
This. Oh my God, I love this. Can we? Why can't we have this? This sounds awesome.
And you could have as many pages if you want. So page 1 is like, oh, that's all of the green materials I'm building with in this build. Page 2 is all of the blue materials I'm building with. Oh, that would be amazing.
That would be absolutely amazing.
I'm ready.
Me too. I think we just sold the idea of what we want. Just saying.
If you'd like that idea, then please do leave it on the Minecraft feedback website, which they don't use anymore. So then go and tell them all on Twitter that's what you want. Okay, good.
We would need a video to even promote this, to convince people that's what they would want.
Yeah. Oh man, if only I was any good at UI interface stuff on add-ons, I could do that. But I'm not. I'm rubbish at it. Jeez, I suck.
Good talk.
Right.
Good talk.
Next question, Slack. Oh, there's a million questions in this next one.
Next question is from iZerodon. And it's hello, Slack and Foxy. I have been lingering at the edges of your communities for a better part of a year now. I have watched nearly every one of your YouTube videos and often enough try to catch live streams on Twitch as well. I just wanted to write and give you my whole 2 cents. Comments first. Slack, you're an amazing builder. Your creativity is inspiring. Thank you for all your unseen efforts you put into entertainment you provide. Well, me saying thank you. Foxy, your add-ons and attention to details have made a Bedrock Edition Minecraft so much more fun for so many people, myself certainly included.
I'm glad you think so. Thank you.
Now, questions. Shut up, phone. Now, questions. Slack, is there a build that you have wanted to create but is still outside your comfort zone? Perhaps, if not, could you touch on your build process for us? And oh God, there's a lot of them. Should we handle these questions one at a time?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So that question for me, is there a build that's outside my comfort zone? No. The biggest constraint on my builds is time. I don't have the time to invest sometimes in the builds that I want to do. Not that I'm not a grinder or anything like that, but let's take last season as an example. Okay. There was many things I wanted to do. I wanted to do the pyramid in the desert. I wanted to do the dragon at spawn. I also wanted to build the Eye of Sauron over at the witch hut. I did not have enough time. You have to prioritize your builds. That's or at least I do, for me anyways. Question for Foxy. Other than the cheaty McFurnace, what, in your opinion, is the best, most useful bug in Bedrock?
See, I put a question mark to this because this is one of these occasions where, while it's not happening, my brain just goes blank because I can't think of all of the bugs. As soon as I'm not thinking about it, or when I'm playing, it'll come to me and I'll think, oh, I love that bug. I absolutely love that. So Slack, what can you give me a list of good bugs that I like, because I can't remember. What shouldn't I be able to do that I like to do?
Well, for the longest time, you were able to insta-mine and nobody else was. Does that count?
Yeah, kind of. I guess so. But that was just because I was near the server and you weren't. Do you know what? I think the one that I found most recently that I really like is the ability to use your elytra while being hit with a shulker bullet and fly down and up. That's made a big difference to end raiding.
Yeah, that's dirty. I agree.
Yeah. But no, there will be more. I just can't think of them. There's certain bugs that I'm more than happy to use all of the time, and I'll be very sad when they go. But I just can't think of them off the top of my head. So I'm sorry about that.
All right. And the last part of the question from them is for both of you. Outside of the Truly Bedrock group, could you tell us who your favorite or favorite Minecraft content creators are? Okay,
me first or you first?
I'll let you go first.
Okay, my favorite Minecraft content creator outside of TB is Exuma, because I find him to be well-rounded. I think he has a lot of similar thoughts and opinions on how the planet should work as myself, and I particularly enjoy his myth-busting and tutorial videos. I'm less interested in his building and storytelling videos, which is a bit odd because I do a lot of storytelling stuff myself, but I don't go to YouTube to watch other people tell stories. I have TV and movies for that. I go to YouTube when I need something or when I just want to chill out and relax. So yeah, myth-busting and tutorial videos I find interesting because I see stuff that I'm not aware of, and he explains it in a way that I find easy to digest.
Well, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. I mean, for me, mine are going to be kind of classic here. I'm a technical nerd at heart, so outside of Truly Bedrock, it's going to be Cub Fan, Tango, and Mumbo. I mean, that's how I fell in love with Minecraft right there, was watching those three. So probably not much of a surprise there, but it is what it is.
Well, I think that depends on who you are, because I know a lot of people, particularly in our communities and the technical communities, would agree with you. But I've never, ever seen a Cub fan or a Tango video. I've never watched one, never even clicked on one. I've seen loads of Mumbo ones, but I wouldn't say he's my favorite. I love his video style. I love the quality he puts into his video. But yeah, I think he's obviously, just due to his subscriber numbers alone, very, very popular. But I think to say Cub fan and Tango is probably just because the people that you're surrounded with probably feel in the same way. Whereas I don't think my community would say the same. Maybe they would. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. If you all had to guess who our favorite content creators would have been, who would your guesses have been? Just curious. Just curious on that one. Who did you think?
I'm not putting down
watched?
Cub fan or Tango there, by the way, because I've seen stuff that they've done and I've heard them both and I've seen them in other people's videos and I think they're both brilliant. I just, again, watching YouTube for me is a minor part of my lifestyle because I spend so much time producing for YouTube. I don't spend a great deal of time watching it, particularly not Minecraft content, because everything I do is Minecraft and it's nice to have a break from that. So yeah, if I had all the time in the world and I was going to, I would definitely watch both of those two because I'm very much aware of them. I'd love to watch loads of Good Times with Scar stuff because the stuff that he builds is incredible, but I just don't have time to. And B-double-O, is it?
Yeah, B-double-O.
He just, when I've seen him in other people's videos, it just makes me laugh. And Corrales as well really make me, well, they're all hermits, aren't they? Yeah. They would just make me laugh. So yeah, I would definitely I'd love to watch them if I had all the time in the world. So it's not that I don't like them. I'm not aware of them. They don't, my priorities are elsewhere.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting question too. Now that I really think about it, who is your favorite Minecraft content creator? Who is your favorite? The more I think about that one's more interesting. I should probably let that one go. Right. Yes. Let's let that one go. Let's move on.
Victim Born says, there's actually two questions. They're pretty much the same, so I've joined them together, but I'll read them both out. Victim Born says, what is the most direct way to support you? In the past, Foxy has said that he gets the highest percentage from Patreon, and so I've been one of his patrons for almost 3 years. Is this still the best way to show support? Isu also says, I'm catching up on the pod and just got to the part on the third one where you talk about different ways of supporting and the positives and negatives of them. For each of you, what is the best way to support you that gets you the most money to you and less to those who want to take a share? And I think this has come about because we were talking about Discord opening up their subscription things last week. For me, Patreon is certainly the easiest because it's a separate system. It's really easy to manage. And they only take around about 5 to 12% depending on what you're doing with them. And I think I'm at the lower end of the scale. Now, I do remember last week we talked about the fact that because I'm actually getting paid in dollars rather than pounds, I'm having to go through another 2 companies that to get it converted and into my bank, which does incur a fee, but it's still far, far lower than YouTube memberships because YouTube take a 30% cut.
They take a big cut, yeah.
Yeah.
YouTube takes a big cut. So does Twitch. Twitch takes a big cut as well. Now, it's not in bits, but in subscriptions, they take a massive cut. As far as the best way to help support a content creator, aside from Patreon, I would say direct donations via PayPal. That's just being truthful here. Now, you were talking about Patreon there too. You got to consider too, me and you got grandfathered Patreon accounts.
Yeah, that's also very true. Yeah. We've been on it a while.
Yeah. Well, right when I went to make mine at the beginning of when I made mine, they were implementing changes in it where they take higher cuts out of tiers.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So you got in way before me, and I literally just got in where I could still be grandfathered on the old system. Anybody that makes a new one now, they take a lot bigger cut.
Well, I just read that percentage. I Googled it. I didn't look at mine. I just Googled it, and it says patrons take a 5 to 12% cut depending on what plan you're with them. So I'm assuming I'm at the bottom end of that because it was early days, and I don't think there was a plan at that point.
Exactly. Yeah. We got a default thing that we got a universal. Now you have to pick your plan, and depending on your plan, is how much Patreon takes out of it.
Wow. Okay. So, yeah, just to touch on what you said there as well of the other ones, Twitch, obviously subscribing on Twitch is a way to support us, but I think Twitch is it 60%? No, 40%. Or is it 50%?
Twitch, out of subscriptions, they take 50% of the revenue.
50%. Yeah, so you're giving half of your money to Jeff Bezos to send him to space. So that's not the best way to do it, although it is very much appreciated when you do that. And like Slack said, if that's all you're fussed about, and you've got the time and you've got the patience to do it, then obviously, yeah, direct donations via PayPal. There's no commission on those at all. PayPal don't take anything, I think, unless you've got a business account.
Yeah, or there's that minor, if you transfer it to your bank, sometimes PayPal will take like a small, like 1% of like every $100 or $1,000 or some crazy number. I don't remember what it is, but it's very, very small compared to everything else.
That again might be a difference of where we live or difference in when we took out our PayPals, because I'm sure that withdrawals for me for PayPal are free. When I get if I do get donations in dollars rather than pounds, I do obviously end up paying extra for the conversion, but that's just how any bank works. When you transfer one currency to another, the bank will never give you the actual conversion rate because it will always be looking to make a small amount of profit on that conversion as well. Yeah. So it's not like they're adding a fee for me to do that, but I would never get the full amount through because there's always going to be a conversion fee. Oh, well, a conversion cost, if you like. So, but no, yeah, that's...
Yeah. Well, I literally, my brain just clicked what we were talking about there. If I want to transfer it like to my debit card, I can do it instantly and they will take a percentage. Now, if I want to just transfer it to my bank account, I wait the 3 to 5 days and it costs absolutely nothing. I get the full amount, if that makes any sense.
It takes that long to go to your bank account?
3 to 5 days.
Really? Again, it's instant. No
yeah, see, there's no instant. If you want instant over here, it's directly to your card and they're going to take a percentage.
I can't have it put to my card.
See, I can have it put to my card.
That's really weird. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm learning things here. So things are different wherever you live, but at the end of the day, that is probably the cheapest way to do it. Or is that certainly the way that we would get the most percentage of it? Yeah. It's a completely honest response. It feels very dirty talking about things like this, but you asked the question, so there are the answers.
Yep. That's the answer. Right. So our next question here comes from Victim Born. If you could no longer live within 300 miles of where you do now, where would you choose to go?
Slack, you go first.
Right now, I'm pretty much, how do I put this, in the center of the U.S. in what they call the Bible Belt, Tornado Alley. I live in Kentucky, but, I don't really care that people know that. I've never hid that. I think my accent kind of gives that away. I don't like the heat at all. And I would like to live somewhere. Actually, I've wanted to live pretty much all my life in Alaska. So that would be where I would head, is up to Alaska.
Fair enough. Not the UK then. Cold here.
Yeah, it's very tempting. But the UK is a lot smaller and I don't want neighbors.
It's not like you can see the edge of it.
I'm standing over here. I can see the other side from right here.
You would no idea. You've got no sense of scale when you're actually there. It just looks like anywhere else on the planet. It just takes you slightly less time to get from one side to the other in the car.
Well, see, this is where my brain can't imagine. I could see it on TV all day long. But I guess I'll get to find out later this year when I make my trip over there. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, there you go. You will see. Anyway, yeah, so my answer to that is Cornwall, which I live in the northeast of the UK, in a town called Cleethorpes, and my brother lives in a place called Cornwall, which is in the southwest, and it is the closest thing we've got to being on holiday that's not being on holiday or on vacation if you're a US friend of ours. And it's just nice. It's chilled out. It's relaxed. It's busy in the summer, which is not ideal, but it's very green. It's a lot warmer. The sea's nice to swim in. You've got waves down there, so if you're interested in it, you can go surfing. Whereas where I live, there's nothing at all. It's on the Atlantic Ocean rather than the North Sea, so it's just better basically. So yeah, so it's a very nice part of the UK to be. And I would, although the only downside to being there, Slack, is there's hardly any internet at all.
I've just went from like no internet to like godly internet. No, I can't do that. No. No, I'm going to hard pass on that.
Right, the next one is also from Victim Born, who says, Mr. No-Tail, is there any plans on making it possible to turn your mob heads back into avatars? I play on Bedrock Patron server, and I would love to make displays with animals posing in different ways. I've mentioned this a couple of times. If you're not aware of what Victim Born's talking about, I created a version of basically the vanilla tweaks mob heads or more mob heads for Java Edition in Bedrock, and that's been a very popular pack of mine. And recently, I added a player heads part of that, and I've enabled the players to be able to combine their heads with an armor stand to create full players, so avatars. They don't do anything. You can pose them, you can change their skin, and that's about it. And I mentioned, and I have done it for a few thumbnails, where I've took an entity like a pig or a panda or something like that, and I've basically took that model and that texture file and created it so that I can just plonk it in the world without it having any AI and wandering about. Now on Java Edition, you can just summon in an animal into the world without any AI, and that's great. But what Victim is asking here is, can I do that for all of the mobs and make them posable? Which I could, and I'd love to, but it would take forever, and I'm not going to, because I just don't have the patience to create different models for every single mob in the game and make them posable with different poses and all that sort of stuff. Would be an incredible amount of time that I just don't have, and would keep breaking every update because they fiddle with entities all the time, so I'd be permanently fixing it. So yeah, I would love to do it, but it's not something that I'm currently in the process of doing or planning to do.
Yeah, it sounds like something like that would be a lot of time. A lot of time indeed.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was you. Right. So the next, oh my goodness, the next question we have is actually from your Discord, Foxy.
Yep. Yeah, the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are from my Discord.
Right. Well, do you want to do your Discord and I'll do the ones from my Discord, or?
Yeah, can do. What do you want to take it in turns then? Do one from yours and then I'll do one from mine.
All right. So let's start with yours since it's at top.
Okay. Plod says, hey, Foxy, I've just got Java Edition for the first time. What are your top tips for someone who's only played Bedrock before playing on Java? I'm not abandoning Bedrock, by the way. I just wanted to experience the other side. And my answer to this is ask Slack, because Slack's pretty much just been through that as he's transitioning, or not transitioning, but started to play Java a lot relatively recently, whereas I played it a long, long time ago, and it's changed a lot since I used to play it.
2 things I would recommend. 2 things. Or 3. Optifine. Optifine is your friend. It's going to help you with so many quality of life improvements, like glowing torches and such. Optifine is definitely a go-to. The second would be, by default, Java Edition has its lights set to moody. And I couldn't figure out for the longest time why I could not play Java for more than an hour without getting a migraine. It's because by default, the light settings on that are set to moody lighting, and it doesn't matter how many torches you put down, it's still dark. The saturation of the blocks is different, and it gave me massive headaches. Make sure you adjust your brightness of the game. And the third thing is just watch out for the mobs. They hit a lot harder. You kill a zombie there and suddenly you got a pack of 200 zombies, because Bedrock doesn't have the reinforcements add-on thing where you kill a zombie and more come in. Learn to use a shield for Java. Throw it away in Bedrock. It's pointless in Bedrock, but in Java, yeah, use a shield.
For me, on Java Edition, the main difference is just general movement. Flying with Elytra, although similar when you're in flight, if you hit a wall, you're dead. If you hit the floor, you're dead, generally speaking. And just moving around just feels different. It's not massively different. In creative it is, because you tend to slide about a bit. But in survival, it's not horrendously different from what's happening, but it just has a different feel to it. And it takes a little bit of getting used to.
Yeah, and there's some people who like Bedrock's movement, and I honestly think Java's movement is smoother.
Yeah, see, I like Bedrock better. That's one of the things that really got me about Bedrock Edition when I first started. It was I spent about a week going, oh, this is weird, and then after that, I just thought, no, I like this. This fits me better. It is more generous to my clumsiness. Yeah,
well, there's a reason I've been playing nothing but Bedrock here since the update, because I won't lie, when I went down the Java rabbit hole here, a few months ago, I almost didn't get pulled back out of it. It feels so much smoother. And especially now that I got a computer that can run it without an issue. Like I put like ungodly shaders on and I loaded it up like a few days ago and it was just like, oh, smooth as butter, like 200 frames a second. And I was just like, nope, gotta close this. Nope.
Yeah.
But that's preference.
There aren't many other games in the world, unless it's a remake or something like that, where you've got effectively the same game, but different. Mm-hmm. And I think moving from one version to another really does give you a whole new appreciation for the thing that you love from scratch. So learning all of the new mechanics, and I know they shouldn't be different, but they are. Learning how things interact with each other differently, learning how mobs work differently, and just how they pathfind differently. That when you kill a zombie, more will spawn. It's called social spawning. To basically, it's a mechanic. Mob spawners work differently. Maybe not the radius, but the different speeds and how fast they come out, and how mobs can pick up different items and different armors, and how the fire rates of skeletons and how accurate skeletons are on Java Edition is ridiculous.
Oh, you can't even strafe them. You can't even jump away from their shot. They're snipers.
So it really is. And so I would recommend to anybody that can try the alternative version, just do it. Just spend a month or a week playing the other version and just enjoy Minecraft all over again, because it's not what you expect it to be, and it's generally pleasant regardless of which way you're going, unless you really do struggle with Minecraft, because it is very deadly on Java Edition.
Well, I'll tell you, it is, but I'll tell you one of the biggest things right now, the biggest thing for somebody going from Bedrock to Java, and I've noticed this with a lot of my community uses a controller
on Java.
And there's no controller support on Java.
You can get a mod for it.
There's ways you can get it, but it's very
yeah, it's not ideal.
Yeah. No. So they have to do mouse and keyboard, and they're so used to playing on a controller that some people it's just harder to adapt.
Now, I can't remember where I saw this now. It might have been in a news feed or something like that, but I saw something pop up today for me on my phone while I was browsing. I don't know, it was Flipboard or something, saying about there was an app for iOS and Android now that allow you to run Java Edition with touchscreen control on your mobiles.
That's definitely something to look into in the future.
Yeah, so there are different options to be able to play it if you don't have a PC, but I would definitely recommend doing it on a PC with keyboard and mouse, because it's how it's intended to be played, and certainly the easiest way to play it.
Okay. Well, moving on to the next question from my Discord would be from Big Baby. Now, Big Baby here asks, when building structures at a height like the level I'm building my current industrial area on this season of Truly Bedrock, how long does it take for you to not fly down and retrieve dropped blocks from where you were building?
For me, you know what I'm like, Slack. I can't let blocks go to waste. It drives me nuts. I can't throw anything away, but I'm getting better at it.
I've watched you burn stuff before, I'm just saying.
It depends on the value of the block. If I'm building in the nether, I'm more than happy to just throw netherrack away, because I have no use for it. I don't really like nether brick. It doesn't fit with any of the builds that I do. It's not something I use a lot in my build palettes, so I'm more than happy to just let netherrack despawn. Stone, on the other hand, even though I've got more stone than anybody could ever know what to do with, it's relatively precious to me, but not as precious as stuff like redstone components. So if I'm working high up and something drops off the edge, if it's something valuable like an observer or a piece of glowstone or something like that, then I'll probably go down pretty quickly and get it, because rockets cost nothing. Whereas if it's just load of stone, or magma blocks or something that I can get in quantity really easily, I'll go down after I've finished doing what I'm doing. And if it's all still there, then great. If not, then it's not. Yeah. Whereas Slack could just leave it and let it despawn.
No, I would agree with you. Like right now, I got the wool farms up and going, and like I got stone for days. And if I'm breaking stuff and stone goes down the ocean, whatever. But like I was doing something, I was on stream the other day, and I broke one piece of wool, and it fell. And I'm looking at the wool stack in my inventory, and I'm looking at that piece that's falling down to the ocean there. And it's just like, I did that leap of faith. I just took one step forward and just fell. And literally before, I broke a whole platform and let like 10 stacks of stone just despawn. But that one piece of wool of blue wool I had to go get. Yep.
Did you do that thing where you try and catch it on the way down, but it never does it? It never goes in your inventory until you hit the water or the ground below. It's really frustrating. I do that with shulker shells when I kill shulkers and you're trying to catch them before they hit the floor.
I think it actually did go in my inventory as I was on the way down.
Oh, did it?
I think.
Typical you. You're lucky. You're very lucky.
Complain some more about it. Right. Next question.
The Real Dill Pick says, ignoring any previous biome vote, what biome do you think most needs an update in 1.19? And I put barring the end biomes because I think they are desperate. Deserts probably for me because everything else is relatively interesting unless it's not supposed to be. And I know a desert's not supposed to be interesting because it's a desert by its very name and definition. It's deserted, so it shouldn't be. But wouldn't it be nice if they were just, there's a little bit more going on there? You know, you might find the odd oasis with a palm tree or, you know, I don't know. I just feel like deserts could have something. Whereas I can't really think of any other biome that's really lacking all that much. What about you, Slack?
I was literally jotting notes here while you were talking about this one. I agree with you on that with deserts, but overall, My immediate answer was going to be that any biome updates after caves and cliffs are just going to feel weak. They're going to feel inadequate because adding in the caves and cliffs just felt so amazing, so good. Like the caves themselves, you got, what do you got? The dripstone caves, you got the lush caves. Do you have anything else? I'm trying to remember my brain.
Caves.
Okay.
We'll have deep dark at some point.
Okay. All right.
But that's about it. But I would like more cave variations.
Well, here's where I was just thinking with that. My brain just clicked with this. What if eventually all these caves became biome specific?
Okay.
And what if with each update, they introduced a new type of cave to that biome? So they do a desert update, but suddenly you might find this underground oasis in a desert. That's their version of a cave update to the desert.
Well, that's a little bit like what I did with my Super X SMP patron server, where I created a load of, it was before we got mountains, but we had the ability to almost create mountains with custom biomes. So I made 3 different types of custom mountain range. There's like a snowy one, there is a deserty one, and there is like just a generic sort of hilly one. And underneath each one of those, I put in completely custom cave systems with different like inside the caves, if it was an ice mountain, it would have ice caves underneath with amethyst shards growing out of the ice and stuff like that. If it was a sand cave, it would have sandstone and stuff underground, and it would look more like a deserty underground. And the other one, the normal terrain, had loads of glow vines and it looked really luscious. And it was so having something like that but more varied and more for each biome, I'd love that. That'd be great.
Yeah, I think all future biome updates need to have a cave with each biome update. Like you update the swamp, add in a swamp cave. I'm just saying.
Yeah, if you could know what biome you're below by the type of cave you're wandering through and see those things in that cave, I think that would be brilliant. Yeah, I'd love that. Good thinking, Slack.
All right, so moving on to the next question, which I had listed another one from Aaron there, but I'm pretty sure that's a repeat because you said pipes, I said light blocks. Which block? Yeah. All right. So we're going to skip that one.
What block do you want most in the game? Yeah.
Right. So we're going to skip that one. We're going to go to Teddy Legends here, which is a question from both of you. Which is your favorite season of TB and what made it so?
Well, we had this as well last week. Well, these are all repeats, Slack.
Oh my goodness.
Your Discord a week behind.
Maybe I missed it. Maybe I didn't mark it as completed. Right. Let's go down to the next one. Sacred Lotus. If you could add in a new food item into Minecraft, what would it be and why?
Right. Okay. First of all, I thought, when I was thinking about this, I thought, I can't really think of a new food that I'd really want in the game because I think we've got plenty of different foods. I don't really need anything else. I don't feel like I'm missing something. But then it occurred to me that foods can do certain things. And what I'd really like is something that makes you shrink, that down to like a tiny size so that one block suddenly becomes huge and you can see the world like almost like you were a little mouse or something around it. I just think that would make the world look so much more interesting, just having the camera perspective down at your feet level rather than at your head level. And then another food that would make you really big so you could sort of almost like step over your builds, and I don't know, it would be just a really different weird way to play Minecraft.
There was an add-on once that I played that did that, and I can't remember what it was. But you could, depending on what you wore. Like if you put on like leather armor, your character would shrink, and if you put on like diamond armor, your character would grow.
You can do that in Bedrock, but it doesn't move the camera position, which is really frustrating.
Yeah, that's true. That's a very fair point. That's a very fair point. But you said that about food, and it got me to thinking, what if you could enchant your food? What if, okay. I'm not interested in no new food, but what if you could take like food that's already existing in the game, like a stack of potatoes, and enchant it with, say, a strength potion, and then when you eat a potato, you get strength for a little bit.
Okay, what, rather than carrying strength potions with you, you've got a stack of potatoes that will do this, a similar thing, maybe not for quite as long, perhaps.
Maybe not for quite as long, or maybe it has a cost to it, okay? So now you suddenly have stacked food with an advantage, okay? So you got a potato, you know, a stack of potatoes that if you eat them, you get strength too. But maybe there's a third ingredient required for the crafting of it. So you have the potato, you have the potion, and who knows, another star. I'm just randomly just coming up with something so that you can enchant your food to make your food suddenly better.
I don't think there needs to be a cost to it to that extent, but that's a really good idea, because you can do tipped arrows in a cauldron, can't you? You put your potions in a cauldron, you throw your tipped arrows in there, or at least you click on it with your tipped arrows and you get tipped arrows. To do that with food and get those effects on your food, I think that's a really good idea, and that would almost sort of lean into the lore of enchanted golden apples and things like that. I think maybe the status effect shouldn't be quite as strong or shouldn't last as long per piece of food, but I think that's a really good idea. Yeah.
Oh, I would agree. So let's say that a strength potion, I don't know what it is. Let's say it's 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. And you got a stack of potatoes, and it takes a whole stack. So 64 divided by 2 minutes, you figure it up, and that's what it breaks down to proportion on each one.
2 seconds.
Okay. So you eat a potato, and for 2 seconds, you can hit something really hard.
Well, that's kind of like suspicious stew, but again, that doesn't stack, does it? Because that gives you 10 seconds based on what flour you use it, but it won't stack. So I don't know. I think 2 seconds is probably a bit short, but yeah, definitely something along those lines. I'd be really up for it. And just being able to enchant more things in the game, I think would be fun as well. Why can't I have an efficiency 5 stick?
Why can't I have a knockback stick?
Exactly. It's not fair. Not fair.
Not fair at all. Not fair at all.
Right, okay. Moving on. Fieldy YouTube says, what? I don't think this was actually intended for the podcast. It was just from my Discord, but I added it in anyway. What screen recorder do you use? OBS Studio. Both of us use OBS Studio. If you're doing anything on a PC, use OBS Studio. Yes, it seems complicated at first glance, but it's stable. It works well. It's constantly developed. It will create file sizes that don't kill your computer if you set it up right. The alternatives you've got are the free ones are NVIDIA Shadow Play, which works great, but there's no. I don't like it because you can't see it. You can't see it, and therefore I think it comes up with an icon to say it's recording, but there's nothing. I can see OBS now while we're recording this podcast, and I can see it is recording, and I can see my audio levels, and I can see nothing's broken. Same thing with Game Bar. You can record on that, but you can't see it other than the icon to say it's recording. They both create really good quality files doing Shadow Play and Game Bar, but there's no, if your audio isn't working for whatever reason, your mic's cut out or something's not right, you've got no idea until you watch it back. Doesn't mean you won't make mistakes with OBS. We still both do quite regularly, I think, but it's less likely to happen with that. There are other alternatives to OBS as well, but I don't think anything's got the flexibility and the ability to just do it such a good job as OBS from what I've seen.
Recommend OBS. Yep.
Yeah, and it's free.
Free. Right. Since that was a short one, you want to jump into a second one?
Can do. Okay. Bravo 11 Matt says, do you think Minecraft would benefit from a 4th dimension in the future? And if so, what would it be? Or should they focus more on developing the overworld or end biomes? And I put this yes and yes. I definitely think they need to do more with the overworld and the end biomes as a matter of priority. But I don't think having more dimensions is a bad thing at all. Mainly because developers keep adding more blocks to the game and more things, but they're all centered around things that exist. So we've got basalt, and we've got different types of rocks, and we've got different types of dirts and muds and things like that, which is nice, but they're very real. They're not very fantasy. When we got the Nether update, we got all of these new types of woods and warped funguses and things like that, which was really good fun because all of a sudden we got something unusual and more fantasy to play with and build with. If you've got different dimensions, you've got an opportunity as a developer to be more creative with what blocks you're putting out there, because no one can say, well, that's not very realistic. You know, so I think that gives us an opportunity to have more blocks and more things that are wild and wacky and out there, and more mobs, without it affecting vanilla Minecraft. Vanilla Minecraft is still the overworld, still the overworld, the nether still the nether, the end still the end, but I can go to Dimension X and get these weird wacky blocks that have weird particle effects, or are a different color, or have stripes, or I don't know, whatever. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, like a few of the blocks just in the last couple of updates could have been in another dimension. The amethyst and the calcite, you know, you could have named them something else and had them in a different dimension easily.
Yeah. Yeah, but those, again, though, you were saying that they're both based on existing real life blocks. So yeah, the developers, they're limited by people going, yeah, but that's not very realistic.
Well, stuff and things.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I agree. I really can't think of anything to add to that. I've never played any mods that had another dimension added into the game. But yeah, the end, more biomes, I'm all for.
I want a room where I've got portals that take me to all different places, and I can have different bits of bases and different ones, and I can have one that's got a castle in it and set in medieval times, and one that's futuristic and set in the future, and one that's set in on an ocean. Oh, yeah, it'd be amazing. Yes, please.
Then give us the ability where we can, you know, literally a room with portals. The only way you're going to have a room with portals right now is to put another portal in the end gateway room, because we can't move the end gateway.
Exactly. Portable portals. Or another thing that I would like is the ability to fast travel with your nether portal. So rather than your nether portal just taking you to the nether coordinates, have a portal that takes you to, it's linked to somewhere else in the world. So like a mining desert, for instance, I can just go through this portal at my base and appear at the mining desert, you know, rather than having to go through the nether bit first and pop out the other side. That would be great. That'd be really helpful, particularly for content creators that are always short of time, but just for players as well. Why bother having to go through that trek of it's always safe. You've made a safe tunnel through the nether. There's nothing's going to happen. It's just time then taken walking through that distance or flying through that distance. What's the point? Just give us fast travel.
Yeah, didn't we have that up for a debate one season? I think. I don't remember when it was. It just sounds very familiar.
I think we've briefly touched on it in TB meetings, but I don't think anyone's ever been particularly happy with my idea of, can we just have teleporter pads everywhere, please?
I'm honestly not opposed to them after you reach a certain game stage.
Yeah.
Once you reach a certain game stage, I have no issue with them. It's kind of like, I know some people, like for Java, use other dimensions for mining. They literally have dimensions for nether mining. They have dimensions for sand mining. They use other dimensions that are literally just like flat worlds full of that stuff. So yeah, I like that. That's pretty cool.
All right, next question from you.
Next question's coming from my right-hand man, T-Man here. And he's got two questions, one for each of us. So we'll start with the one directed at you for Foxy. What is the funniest Slack death you've ever seen while recording with Slack?
That would have been at the beginning of Truly Bedrock Season 2, when I created the water drop chute into our little mini base between our two bases in Chunktown. And did I leave a block in there by mistake, or I put one in because I was moving stuff about?
You put one in because you were changing stuff.
And you went down it and went splat.
Yeah, my first death of that season. The first season where we were keeping track of deaths. Yep, I logged on and my first death came from Foxy placing a block. Yep.
Yeah, my fault that Slack didn't look where he was falling. Yeah, definitely my fault.
Oh, yeah, because the render distance was so good that I could see all the way down that hole to the bottom of it. I looked down every hole I jumped down before when it was a safe hole 10 minutes before, 2 minutes before. I needed that. I do now. I'm just saying. I do now.
You're once bitten, twice shy. What about you, Slack?
Mine's as well going to come from season 2. But it's going to come from when we were fixing the fortress. Do you remember? You got knocked into the trident killer, and there was like 4 withers in there. And they killed you. It was hilarious.
Stuff in the
yes, exactly. Because you can watch this from both of our points of view. You're like, oh dear. oh dear, because they killed you. And like, I'm doing my own thing, minding my own business. And you're like, Slack, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. And I come over there like as you die. So I see you die from my point of view. You die. All your stuff explodes. You respawn and you're like, oh dear, this is a problem. And you're like, you don't have a burner hooked up to that storage system, do you? And like, you can see it like in my recording, it like clicks. I'm like, oh wait, I do. So I go to jump down to break the hopper line. And like, as I'm going down, you can just see stuff going click, 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 click into the lava.
Oh dear. Oh yeah, that was funny. That was really funny. Oh, thanks for your bonificator, Slack. I always appreciate them. They always ended up with my stuff in every single time.
Oh, well, if you would not jump into a trident killer with like 4 withers, it wouldn't happen. I'm just saying.
That's very true. Right, we are on the second to last question now, and this is from Diesel Wolf, and he says,
okay.
I know in the recent podcast you gave your opinion on add-ons that give you loads more colour options for blocks when building and how that would be overwhelming for some. My question regarding a similar situation is, do you and Slack think they should add stair, slab and wall options for concrete colours, the current ones that they already have in the game? The reason we spoke about this previously is because we always say the same thing, I think, me and Slack.
No.
I'd like to have all of the stairs and slabs and walls for everything, but not having them makes for better creativity because you have to think around it and you have to consider your build palette. If we have everything we want, everything becomes simple, and not all builds would be boring, but a lot would, and it might just make the game not quite as interesting, you know, certainly not as interesting. When I do my tours of my patron servers or even TB at the end of the season, and I go around and see what people have done and how creative they've been to get around these things and how they've made stuff look like real life buildings or really fantasy buildings with crazy block palettes I would never have considered. If we had all the colors we wanted and all of the variations we wanted, everything would look the same.
Yeah, I would totally agree on that. I mean, like, let's go with this season of Truly Bedrock alone. I'm building out of walls right now. There's no stairs. There's no slabs. I'm having to improvise. How am I going to find a block palette that works well with that? Honestly, you'd be really surprised when I say copper.
Well, fair enough.
It's new. It's new. It's different. It's shiny. It adds a different contrast to the wool. So we'll see how it works. We'll see how it works. But yeah, no, don't. Because then I feel like it would take away some of the creativity. We've covered that before. Yep.
Yeah. At the end of the day, if they put them in at some point, which I'm sure they will, because it's always asked for, and I'm sure they're just waiting to put it in at the right time. When they do, I'm sure we'll find really creative ways of using those as well. But I'm not needing it. I don't find a need for it. I don't look and go, no, do you know what? I really wish I had. It's fine with what we've got. But Slack, you just mentioned you're working with copper.
Mm-hmm.
You're not laying it out on the ground and waiting for it to change color first, are you? And then digging it back up again?
No.
Oh, thank goodness for that. Whew. I thought me and you was going to have to not be friends anymore for a minute there, but no, it's fine. It's good. Good.
Okay. Good talk, right? You don't like seeing just fields upon fields of just copper randomly placed all over the world?
No. I was going to do the thing where, like, if the next field of copper blocks I've just I see there just with a random person AFK in the middle of a field waiting for their copper to turn green, I'm just going to delete that chunk from the world. I understand there's a million ways to play the game and everyone does it differently, but I just think I'm all about, I hate wasting time. I absolutely hate wasting. I do a lot of it. I do a lot of procrastination. I do a lot of time wasting, but I hate it. Seeing somebody do that when you can just put it where you want it to be and then AFK at your building until your building changes color. It's like, oh, but this is the most efficient way to change it because they're 5 blocks apart or whatever. No, it's not, because then you're going to dig it up and put it somewhere else.
No. I like my copper in copper form. Just saying. Wax.
That being said, Slack, that argument aside, I would like if there was a shop that I could go to on TB that just had green copper in it, which would probably require fields worth of copper to
fields worth of copper.
As long as those fields of copper are not then going to be used for that person's build, and they are going to be put in a shop, then that's fine.
Well, there might come one eventually. I've got to finish setting up a storage system so I can get my drown farm running again.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Just saying.
Right. Last question.
Last question from Guy Gamer here. What is the one question you wish people would ask but never do?
Would you like £1 million? That's the only one I can think of, Slack.
I actually really thought about this one a lot.
There are variations around that question. You would like £1 billion? Would you like £1,000? All of those, yeah. Any of those I would like people to ask, but they never do.
I actually looked at this question and I really had to think about this question.
Okay.
And the question I came up with is probably not what you would consider.
Okay.
You've seen people do it. I've seen people do it. People come into your stream. Oh, I really want to stream, but I need this, or but I need that. I can't do it without this computer. I can't do it without that. Well, you can do it from a potato, and that's not the point here. That's not the point at all. It's not. I would like to, but is it easy or hard?
Oh, okay. So so the someone coming into your stream and saying, is it easy to start a YouTube channel? Is it easy to start live streaming? Yeah.
Yeah.
Rather than saying, I want to do this, but my left arm is, not feeling very well today, so I'm going to start it next year.
You've seen it. You've seen so many people. Oh, I'm going to start streaming now. I got this and I got that. They do 5 or 6 streams and they're done. They quit. They just walk away.
Or they just don't start because there's always an excuse,
Yeah.
Oh, I can't do it because I ain't got the right mouse.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't do it because the shift key on my keyboard's a bit sticky.
Yep.
There's any excuse. And I get it because it's a scary thing to do. And you might record a few things and put yourself out there and then watch them back and go, this is awful and I don't like it. And I get it.
Yeah. And honestly, I love this, but if somebody were to ask me, they come into my stream and ask me, is it easy to be a content creator? No.
No, it's not.
No. I put in more hours doing this than I have at any job I've ever worked.
Absolutely. Yeah. When it's mid everything going on and you're juggling, I mean, I know, but everyone's talked about this now on the internet. It's not just a case of sitting and down and playing Minecraft all the time. I think actually playing Minecraft is probably about not even 10% of what we do. Gaming as a whole is probably not even 10% of what we do, because there's not only the editing, which doesn't sound like much, and the uploading it and the making a thumbnail or the streaming or anything like that. It's all the little things around there as well. You got to, I want this to happen in my stream, so I need to add this redemption, which means I've got to log into Twitch, I've got to go to that page, I've got to figure out what it is, how much is it going to cost, think about that, maybe talk to a couple of people, see if that's reasonable, is that reasonable, or what about other ideas about that? Okay, now I need to actually implement that into my streaming software, which means I need to go through Streamlabs, and I've got to go through OBS Studio, and I've got to add these sources and stuff like that. Oh, hang on a minute, I've got a meeting in my Discord with my admins about this, that, and the other, and I've got to talk about adding these new people to the whitelist. But are these new people? There are a couple of things they said in the Discord are a little bit sketchy. We would probably ask them for some age verification. Can you handle that for me while I do this? Because actually, right now, I've got a meeting on the marketplace and I've got to sort something out and it's just a constant. There's always something to do. Oh, hang on a minute, TB. I've got to do a collab with Tiz Tom this evening, and there's always something, and it takes up. Slack says you work a lot of hours. You can sit at the computer from 8 in the morning until midnight
and never touch Minecraft.
And outside of that, you then laying in bed waiting to go to sleep, looking at your phone, answering people on Discord or checking your emails. The first thing I do when I wake up is to check my emails and check Discord, which I shouldn't do it, but I do. So it is 24/7. You eat, sleep, and dream it. I often find myself dreaming about things that I'm supposed to be doing or have done, because it's just on your mind all the time, and that can create a lot of stress. It can create a lot of problems. It can create a lot of mental health problems, particularly when things aren't going right and you've got added stress of, hang on a minute, am I videos are not getting as many views as they should do, or so-and-so's videos are doing really well, but mine aren't seemingly doing that good. And or someone goes, hey, I've just checked you out on Social Blade and I noticed your graph is going down rather than, you know, all of a sudden you've got this invisible stress behind you going, I need to do better, but I'm already putting in 24 hours a day. I can't. And then you get lost in it all and you end up in this bubble of just floating around in this little thing, firefighting and not winning. And until you take a step back and come out of it for a few days and then reassess your priorities and go back in, well, with your head in the right place, you're just not going to win any battle. So it is hard. And it's not hard like, yeah, you know, you do get a sore neck from sitting there all day. You might get a bit of eye strain or a headache because you haven't drunk enough during the day. But it's not hard labor. You're not getting fit from it. You're not, you know, using your muscles so much, but you are constantly thinking about it and dealing with things and dealing with people and speaking to people. So it's just
a mental drain. It's a mental
drain. Constant.
And not just that, but the amount of research you got to do. I mean, let's think back 3 years ago, Foxy. I was sitting here with a potato in a lawn chair with a TV as my monitor, recording collabs with you. Now, I'm not saying look at me now, but look, the investment and the time. I finally have a good mic. I have monitors. I have a good computer. I have lights shining down on me. You know, I have my own desk. I have my own chair. We're constantly pushing our bar.
And you don't know about any of that to start with. You didn't know what lights to get, what microphone to get, what computer parts to get. You had to learn all of that and figure that out. That's just part of the process.
Oh, yeah. God.
What chair to get? You know, I've got this back problem. I need a chair that's going to support that. I need a mouse that's going to work on this mouse mat, or I need a desk that's actually big enough to fit my legs underneath. You know, there's loads of considerations.
One of the most minor issues, and it took me a year to figure out. I got this nice desk. Nice. Put it together and everything. Nice chair. Uncomfortable. Always in pain. You know what solved it? Buying desk risers and raising my desk up 3 inches.
Yeah, well, that's probably because your monitors are not at the same height as they used to be. If you spend 2 years looking at monitors that are an inch lower than the new ones you've got because you've got new monitors or a different desk, then you don't notice it, but all of a sudden you're looking at a different angle and you get a bad neck. So it's crazy. It's crazy.
There's a lot to it.
Yeah, there is. And I don't want to sound like I don't enjoy it or it's a bad thing, because for me, it's like doing my hobby. I love it, but I've always liked doing, you know, putting time into things and doing hard work, as long as it's something I enjoy. There's a lot of work I wouldn't want to do for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
But this I really enjoy. So if it's something that you're finding is hard work, maybe you've just started doing it and it's hard work and you're not enjoying it, then you're probably not going to enjoy it. It's not going to get any easier. It's not going to go any better. In fact, it's going to get harder.
Get worse.
I used to be able to put out daily videos and work a full-time job and have all my family commitments because I wasn't running a Discord and a Patreon and working with people on TB or worrying. And I didn't worry about it because it was just for fun. And I used to put out a lot more content than I do now that I'm doing this full-time, because there's a lot more to it now and there's a lot more pressure on it. So I have to make sure it's better.
Yep. That's the question, though. That's the question. Yeah. Not, hey, I really want to, but I can't. Is it hard?
Yeah. Should I?
Should I? I'll tell you, though, it has its ups and its downs, but when it has its ups, they're amazing.
Yeah, they are. There's no greater reward than doing this job. And there's also no greater punishment on some days.
Yeah.
Anyway, on that note, Slack, are you going to be streaming this next week?
Yes, I have went to daily streams, as a matter of fact.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I went to daily streams, and I have changed my schedule. I have now moved back to my 4 o'clock time slot, Eastern Standard Time. 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, every day.
Every day. Is that going to be every day going forward?
Yep. Every day going forward.
Okay. Wow. Oh.
Unless there's an announcement in my Discord on something, 4 to 6 Eastern Standard Time every day.
What time is that for me? What's that in GMT?
9 to 11.
Oh, okay. Oh, early streams then. Okay.
No, night.
Oh, at night. Oh, okay. Well, late streams then. Oh, well, I might at some point catch you. At least I'll be able to raid into you on a Tuesday and a Thursday then. So that's good.
Nice.
Excellent.
Nice.
Brilliant. So that's good. I am going to be streaming again as of hopefully from normal from next week. This podcast should come out on New Year's Eve. If I ever have enough time to edit it, we will see.
You got this.
I have. It'll have to be when my kids are in bed.
Again, one of those, is this hard?
Yeah. Monday, I might not have my usual YouTube screen because I'm not sure what day Oliver goes back to school. If it's Monday, then I will. If it's Tuesday, then I won't. But otherwise, Tuesdays and Thursdays streams should be as normal for me next week. Videos, I haven't got any coming out at the moment because I've run out of backlog. So they should be back on the go again, probably from mid next week onwards from my point of view. What about you, Slack?
Videos, well, we talked about that earlier. I'm backlogged like quite a few at the moment, and I'm still like full steam ahead recording. Brilliant. So yeah, Tuesdays and Fridays videos. I'm trying. I want to do YouTube streams on like Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
Like I struggled with it this week, but it was a holiday week.
Yeah.
But I've noticed, just let's not go nerdy here for a minute, but the analytics. Oh my God, the streams help so much on the YouTube side of things.
Yeah.
I've got to keep feeding that to YouTube.
You do.
I'm just saying.
You must not have time off. Oh yeah. I wanted to mention that actually, going back to your original question. I often get a lot of people in the Discord very nicely and very thoughtfully saying, hey, don't worry about things. Just take some time off, put family first and things like that. And that's great. And I obviously do as much as I can. And I do prioritize family over everything else. But you can't, saying to somebody, don't worry about it, is just making...
Don't go to work this week. Yeah, just take a week off from work.
Yeah, you can't. You've got, there's no, even if you are not sat at the computer, you're still thinking about all of the things you're going to need to do when you get back to it. Like I've now run out of videos. I should have a video going out on Saturday, which is the 1st, which I don't have one first, and I'm aware that my kids are here until the 3rd or the 4th, so I'm going to be thinking, well, I need to get a video out for Wednesday, so I'm going to be scrabbling around on Tuesday for that. So yeah, that stress and that stuff, even when you are taking time out with the family, is still there. So anyway, enough whinging and moaning about that. If you would like to get in touch with us, then you can via theminecraftupdatepod@gmail.com email address. Feel free to leave your feedback and any questions that you want in there. Everything you've heard on today's show, all of the news articles that we went through, so many of them, Slack, so much news, so many bugs, all of those links will be listed in the description below. And until next time, catchphrase.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, that'll do.
Happy New Year!
Insert catchphrase here. Right, on that note, I'm off, Slack. I'll see you later, bud.